lot tonight. Leads the team in tackles, and I am sure he is going to be all over the field. The secondary a bit banged up. We know strong safety Trey Umberger, he might play a little spot play duty tonight behind number 8, Ty McMillan, who's moving over from one of the cornerback positions, freeing up number 35, Dante Rogers, to get the start at cornerback tonight. Also be on the lookout for number 24, C.J. Wallace. He's right there down there ready for the coin toss. I'm sure we'll be calling his name a few times. The Vikings play a 3-4, and they average 220 pounds across the defensive front. So they are tossing the coin right there and decide who's going to win it. Looks like MGM has won the coin toss, and they're going to decline to the second half. So, Cora, we'll take a quick break, quick 30-second break. We'll come back with your kickoff here. Citronelle and MGM going at it at E.S. Grider Stadium. It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
Parents, will your child be 4 years of age on or before September 1st, 2020? If so, mark your calendar for this January for pre-K open enrollment. In order to enroll your child, you must complete the online pre-K registration. For a complete list of pre-K sites as well as screening information and selection dates, visit mcpss.com. For your chance to be a part of Alabama's first-class pre-K program, log on this January. In Mobile County Public Schools, we are learning today, leading tomorrow.
Host of Homeroom. Will you join us as we talk with the students, teachers, and staff about all of the great things happening in our schools?
That's right, Renee. Not only are we here to keep you informed about the great things happening in our schools, but to also keep you updated on safety issues.
Our show, Safe Schools, looks at ways to keep your child and our students safe.
Not only are we looking at ways to keep your child and our students safe, but to keep you informed on how to connect with us.
Manténgase informado aquí en Conexión a Padres.
And we also score big from pre-K to high school with MCPSS Athletics.
And then Inside Education puts it all together for you, showing you the ins and outs about news and events taking place across the Mobile County Public School District. We do this to keep you informed.
As a student in the Mobile County Public Schools, there are a few things I've come to expect. One is a quality education, and the other is a quality lunch. Not only are our school meals well-balanced, meeting all federal nutritional standards, but they also have less fat, fewer calories, and they taste really good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, our school lunches contain whole wheat, grains, fruits, and vegetables to give me the energy and brain power to get me through the day.
We welcome you back to E.S. Grider Stadium, home of the MGM Vikings, and tonight Citronelle and MGM going head-to-head for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Corey Bounty. Down on the sidelines, we have Kimberly Dunn. We're just moments away from kickoff. MGM won the coin toss, but they deferred until the second half. So, Corey, we'll get a look at that offense for Citronelle tonight. Talked about the quarterback out tonight, Michael Harvey, late scratch there, and we'll be looking at Jamarcus Robinson, the quarterback for the Wildcats tonight.
Yeah, Jamarcus Robinson played quarterback for the last 3 years for the Citronelle Wildcats. He's 6'1", 185-pound senior, so that's something to keep your eye on. Anytime you have a late week scratch, somebody who's been getting the majority of the reps, that's a very interesting situation. But I'll tell you what, kicking off for the MGM Vikings right now is Chris Brewer. I really like this young man. I saw him a couple of weeks ago against the Murphy Panthers, and all his kicks really had great trajectory on them. Right. Very high arcing kicks, so it's very important that he continue to have a great game and be able to flip the field on special teams for the Vikings.
Well, back to receive for the Wildcats, it will be Jamarcus Robinson along with Brad Washington and Gerarcio Benjamin. And the kickoff is one of the up guys there, going to take it to maybe about the 32, 33-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of high arcing kick that I talked about, Dorian Weaver is able to come away with it, creating the advantage for the Citronelle Wildcats now, taking over at their own 34-yard line.
So good field position here for Citronelle. Our first look at Robinson as he comes onto the field to lead the offense. First and 10 for Citronelle. Ball sitting right there at about the 34-yard line. Little quick handoff to the Wildcats as they get that to Kobe Reed. Picks up maybe one or two. We'll take a quick look at the starting lineup for the Citronelle offense. Mentioned about them earlier. Quarterback Michael Harvey is out tonight. We'll be calling Tyler Miller a lot. And on the run right there, Kobe Reed coming around on that jet sweep. All seniors on that offensive line. I'm sorry, two seniors. Yeah, all seniors on that offensive line for the Wildcats, Corey.
Yeah, and that's something, again, to keep your eye on right there. You looked at the pop pass to Kobe Reed to begin the game. Gain positive yards, bring up 2nd down and 7 for Citronelle.
Fake the jet sweep, and Robinson's going to keep it. Gets a couple of yards. It'll take Citronelle a 3rd down and about 5. Here's a quick look at the MGM defense for tonight. We talked about Umberger being our strong safety. He's the 2nd leading tackler on the team. But Sean Maxwell right there in the middle from his Mike linebacker position. We'll be calling his name. And you mentioned it, C.J. Wallace, number 24. He does a lot. He's even the punt returner, kick returner for the Vikings, Corps.
Yeah, that's something that you definitely don't want your quarterback to be injured returning punts, especially when he's your backup quarterback. Big down right here for the Vikings early, bringing up 3rd down and 5 yards to go.
Dorian Weaver here at the bottom of the screen getting the start at wide receiver. Jeff Weaver is out. That pass incomplete for Robinson. Up the middle, could not make contact, so it'll be 4th down. And we should see the kicking crew here for the Wildcats.
Yeah, on punt returns for the MGM Vikings, C.J. Wallace, the cornerback, has 3 punt returns for 96 yards. We didn't see Murphy punt to him a couple of weeks ago, but if this young man gets it and fields the ball cleanly, you'll see the explosiveness that he does have playing the cornerback position as well as the return man.
Damian Miller on the handle, the kicking duties for the Wildcat. A little wobbly snap, but he gets the punt off end over end. Wallace hauling it in about the 35. No flag. There's the flag right there, possibly for some catch interference, Corey.
Yeah, without question now, that's going to be the call on the play. And you have to give the returner an opportunity to field it cleanly. Did not in that situation, and because of it, the flags come out early.
Early flag on the play right there. Couldn't quite hear you. I think my producer was saying something to me. But yeah, flag is on the play there, so they're going to discuss it. Referee Tim Porter. There we are. We're back. And there's the catch kick interference against Citronelle. So that'll give a good amount of yardage to the Vikings. So a good possibility to start off here for MGM. Ball being placed at their own 42-yard line. A quick 3 and out for Citronelle. That defense stands up for MGM.
Ashton Hollins, the 6'3", 170-pound sophomore, just has to make good decisions with the football. He's very explosive running it in the RPO.
Dominic Ezel on the carry for the Vikings, and he is wrapped up immediately by those Wildcats, Corey.
Ezel, the 5'10", 160-pound junior, that's his 30th rushing attempt on the season. He has 2 rushing touchdowns, but again, a couple of weeks ago, you saw the Vikings have a lot of success running and bouncing the football to the outside. Edrin Houston was that back a couple of weeks ago, but with him possibly spot playing tonight, it's a different dynamic for the Vikings.
2nd and about 12. High snap over Hollins' head. He needs to get down on it, Corey. We saw that a few times against Murphy a couple weeks ago. Take a quick look at the MGM starters once again, and that's going to be a big loss for the Vikings, pushing them back almost to the 15-yard line. We just talked about Ashton Hollins there and Dominique Ezel on the carry there. Quick look at that offensive line again. 2 seniors in the middle. Carl Blankenship, the center. He anchors that offensive line there for the Vikings.
Dorian Weaver will get credit for the stop, the linebacker, 155-pound junior, but it's going to bring up 3rd and forever now for the Vikings.
Need a high percentage possession play right here. Offense coordinator Grady McCluskey calls a little quick screen. That picks up a couple yards, but nowhere near what MGM needed. So high snap, little mental mistake there for the Vikings, and Citronelle looking to capitalize on what MGM could not do.
Yeah, the pass was complete to Jarius Green, and it's a good catch by him. Now Chris Brewer will have an opportunity, again, to have great hang time on this kick. If the ball hits the ground, they're going to have an opportunity to take that favorable MGM bounce, but we'll see what kind of hang time Brewer is able to get on this kick.
Washington and Benjamin back to receive the punt. Lined up just past the 50-yard line. Good punt right there from MGM. Brewer laid into it. Washington takes it round the edge and gets up to maybe about the 49, 50-yard line. So we'll get our second look at the Citronelle offense. Last year, MGM beat Citronelle 27-19. And Corey, ironically, I couldn't believe it. I had to double check it. Both of these teams coming to this game tonight with the exact same records they had last year in 2018.
Yeah, you want to build off of this game. Again, you're looking at these two communities are relatively close to one another as far as location-wise, but you look at Citronelle now having their second opportunity on offense. They want to get positive yardage on first down.
Robinson hands it off to Washington on the jet sweep. Looked as if he was going to do a little pass there, but no, he is brought down and wrapped up. MGM all over him with the tackle there.
Marlon Sampson, the 5'10", 175-pound senior from his free safety spot, comes up and wraps up, makes his 5th solo tackle of the season. Now brings up second down and 15 yards to go for Citronelle.
Pushing those Wildcats back. Beautiful night here for football, Corey. The sun setting, just looking absolutely great out here in CM. Second and long, as you just talked about, for Citronelle. Tyler Miller in the backfield, haven't called his name yet till right there, and they give him the ball. He gets close back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll bring up about 3rd and a long 11 for the Wildcats.
Yes, Tyler Miller definitely has to get the ball going in his favor. Coach talked about it before the game started, Coach Jason Barnett that is, that they need to control the line of scrimmage, and now they're going to have a 3rd down and 12 yards to go opportunity. Again, so far, 2 offensive possessions for the Wildcats have both brought them up in 3rd down and long situations. That favors the Vikings as long as the secondary doesn't let them get anything behind them.
Miller in the backfield just off of Robinson and looking to connect. He's wide open, Corey, and there he is. Can he take it to the house? But he trips up and falls. He cannot believe it. It was nothing but green grass in front of Tyler Miller.
And hopefully we'll have an opportunity to take a look at that replay, like a wheel route. Yep. Tyler Miller coming out of the backfield.
Untouched.
Good job by Jamarcus Robinson, rolling to one way, throwing across his body. Just mention the mental mistakes in the secondary of the Vikings. You cannot have those type of mental lapses in this type of football game. 3rd down and 12 yards to go. And congratulations to the Citronelle Wildcats. They find a way to convert.
They have crossed into Vikings territory. I'm sure offense coordinator Carl Herring will probably dial that one up again later on for us. Miller on the carry. Picks up a couple, maybe 2 or 3. It'll take Citronelle to second down. Corey, it could have been one of those things. The young man was so open, the lights got into his eyes and just got tripped up.
The green grass monster came and grabbed him because, again, if he catches that ball in stride, he's full speed ahead. We're going to have our first heat timeout of the night. Is a pretty good pace so far to begin this first quarter.
Yeah, exactly at 5:59 remaining here in the first quarter, our first heat timeout, and they're right about that. So we'll come back after this break and give you more action. The MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
A trunk-or-treat event is coming to Langham Park, hosted by the Mobile Police Department and Mobile Fire Rescue, Saturday, October the 19th from 4 to 8 p.m. It's a free, fun, and safe Halloween event for the entire family. Spooky fun throughout the park, police vehicles and fire trucks on display, costume contests with prizes, and lots of candy for trick-or-treaters. Join us October the 19th, 4 to 8 p.m. at Langham Park.
All right, I'm here with Citronelle's principal, Mr. Campbell. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, it's a great evening for football.
It sure is. So I know there's a lot of things going on at Citronelle High School. Can you tell us a little bit about the Signature Academies?
Yeah, we've got a great Signature Academy program. We actually lead the system in paid internships every summer. We had close to 50 this past summer. And it's been a great program that's grown every year, and our kids are benefiting from it tremendously.
I've heard a little bit about some of these academies. Now, is it true that in one of your academies in particular that some of your students are graduating from high school and entering right into jobs that pay $50,000 and $60,000?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome for a child to be able to do that. And, you know, That's in our manufacturing internship program, and that's with our steel mills, mainly Otokumpu and AM&S, right there up on 43. And yeah, they go in, and in 2 years they're making over $60,000 and $70,000, and there's no, I mean, they go out of high school, there's no debt involved, and they're buying cars and buying property. They're staying in the community, and they're off their mom and dad's payroll. That's what's good.
So mom and dad are happy about that as well.
Oh yeah, they love that part of it. That's always the goal.
Yes, and speaking of community, something that y'all had going on, I think just Friday night, y'all had a pep rally and a fundraiser for someone in your community named Sid. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Yeah, Sid Hobbs is a great kid, and the Hobbs family is just a great family in the community, and Sid's been battling cancer since he was 3, and he just recently, just a week ago, had another surgery to move a tumor from his brain, and he's recovering. He's a great kid. I mean, he's so resilient, and he's just an amazing kid. So last year we started this with Aubrey's Army, that both communities combined together, and we combined to raise funds and money for that cause. And this year it was Sid, and Sid Strong is a hashtag Sid Strong, and we raised over $21,000 with Mary G and the Citronelle community. Yeah, and it was just so great, and it's very, very touching and heartwarming, and it's great. And it's great timing for them because they're fixing to come into some pretty significant expenses with some radiation treatment, which is going to be down in Jacksonville. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about your school and tell us about this awesome community that we are both a part of. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kimber. Appreciate that. Principal Campbell got a lot going on up there in Citronelle, Corey. And Citronelle first and goal right now. That score did not happen, so it is going to be first and goal, ball at about maybe the 2 or 3 yard line.
Look at the replay. Jamarcus Robinson just around left end is able to break containment. A great stiff arm that he puts on Dante Rogers, just steps out prior to getting in. Now, first and goal, as you mentioned, Al.
Different formation. Robinson is lined out to the outside there, so it looks like he's a receiver. And up the middle with the keeper for the Wildcats, picking up a couple yards on the play, Dorian Weaver.
And that's the wide receiver. The 155-pound junior shows his versatility, but now you're bringing up second down and goal to go from about the 2 yard line. And it's a situation to where, the Wildcats in a Wildcat formation, so to speak, in that situation, weren't able to punch it in, but they're 2 yards away from getting our first score of the evening.
Just under 4 minutes here at E.S. Grider Stadium. Robinson back to take this snap. Empty back set, Corey, so look for that RPO. Basically look for him to take it straight up possibly, and there it is. Big hole right there by the left tackle, and it's a touchdown for Jamarcus Robinson. It puts Citronelle on the board.
Great push by the offensive line. Zach Bird, Justin Reed, and center Jackson Delaney pushing the MGM Vikings into the end zone, and that's not what the MGM Vikings wanted to have happen, but congratulations again to the Wildcats for having a wonderful drive in that situation, capping it off with 6 points, our first score of the evening.
Juan Robles on for the extra point. Robinson holding it, and that is blocked. Extra point is blocked, so Citronelle's on top 6-0. All that set up by that little wheel route caught by Tyler Miller earlier, and there's the replay of Robinson going into the end zone for the 2 yard scamper and puts him up on top, but the PAT is blocked there, Corey, so only 6-0 for Citronelle.
Yeah, that can be a huge factor later on in the game, as we saw that in some games that we've had earlier, to where the difference was the special teams, and that part of the special teams that you want to go ahead and clean up and play all 3 phases of the game.
Got to thank our folks over there at Firehouse Subs, especially Jim and Susie Sherman at the Greenlight Road location, taking care and feeding the crew tonight. Make sure you enjoy more subs and save more lives. A portion of subs purchased go to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. And a big thanks to Future Ones for taking care of the crew with our gear tonight. Future Ones, where you can get team apparel and equipment from baseball to wrestling and all sports in between. Wear the future with Future Ones, as Corey and I are wearing our Navy Future One polos tonight.
Yeah, that was a 10-play drive out that was very impressive by the Wildcats, and you know offensive coordinator C.J. Herring in his second year with that duty has to be very pleased. The Wildcats come in averaging, like you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, 20.2 points per game, and the Vikings were giving up 17.8 points per game. I know defensive coordinator Jared Parton is talking to his guys on the sidelines, just making those adjustments, especially in the secondary, because the Wildcats were able to convert on a couple of third down and long situations right here at the 50-yard line.
Nice kick right there by Miller. On the move for MGM. Kel Young gets it up to about the 32-yard line. Corey, let's look at the impact players for MGM tonight.
Well, when you look at the Vikings, you have junior linebacker Sean Maxwell. We've called his names a couple of times so far. And also quarterback Ashton Hollins. He'll have an opportunity right now to get with his center and make those adjustments. His center, Carl Blankenship, and him weren't on the same page on the Vikings' first drive, and it equated in a tremendous loss of yardage. So they'll get that taken care of here. But Ashton, once he gets past the line of scrimmage, he has great speed as well.
Ezel on the carry for the Vikings up the middle, picks up about 6 or 7 on first down. I'm sorry, Edrin Houston into the game. We said we would see him possibly at some spot play tonight, so Houston is now in the ballgame. Yeah,
Houston gives you that burst, that juice that Coach Stan McCain wanted to see out of his team. You and I were talking to him in the pregame, and he was worried that his team didn't have a lot of energy in the pregame. So let's see if that equates here in the Vikings' second drive with Houston coming in the game, infusing a little bit of offensive juice.
Hand off to Houston once again. He was on the way to getting that first down, but tripped up. He may have enough. Let's see where they spotted at. It's going to be a close call there.
Good tackle by nose tackle Joe Bird, the 210-pound sophomore, on the stop, not before the Vikings got the first down.
They do pick up the first down, second carry by Houston as he comes in the game and brings the juice. One thing Coach Jason Barnett told me before the game, Corey, he wants to see some more effort out of his team. Next to getting the win, he just wants to see some effort. He said it wasn't there last week. We got shut out by Faith Academy, so I want our guys to really step up and bring some effort tonight. They've done it, getting on the board. Houston coming around the edge here close to us, below the numbers. He's a scrappy little runner, picks up maybe 2 or 3 on that first down carry.
Loves to bounce to the outside, so the Wildcats have to make sure he does not break containment, and he just has a low center of gravity, runs very hard. Gained 3 yards on that play, going to bring up second down and 7 yards to go for the Vikings.
Looking over to the sideline to get that call from offensive coordinator Grady McCluskey. This defense for Citronelle only giving up 13.2 points a game. I talked about it in the beginning. Corey, they got a lot of takeaways, 7 interceptions and 8 fumble recoveries. So this defense for the Wildcats, they are all around the ball. And they bring in Ezel on that carry. It'll be third down and long here for MGM coming up.
Dorian Weaver, the 155-pound junior from his outside linebacker position, making the stop, was able to gain a couple of yards. Third down and a long 6 yards to go for the Vikings. But again, with 2 minutes remaining here in the first quarter, it's going to be imperative that they go ahead and get some positive yards so they can keep their defense fresh.
Young in motion right there. Hollins looking back to pass. He's got a couple guys open and gets it to Dominic Ezel, who slipped behind the linebackers, and out is a completion for a long first down.
An identical wheel route. You look at Ezel coming out of the backfield. Ashton is looking right at him the entire time. The defensive backs did not see him coming out of the backfield, missed their assignment, but that's just a great play, the type of juice, the type of energy that the Vikings really needed to sustain this momentum here late in the first quarter.
First down ball sitting squarely at the 30-yard line of Citronelle. The Vikings on the move, trying to hit pay dirt as we approach 1 minute remaining here in the first the first quarter. Young in motion again, and Hollins just going to keep this one and go up the middle for a couple of yards.
Stopped on the play by Carson Shira, the defensive tackle. He's a sophomore for the Wildcats, but not before Austin is able to pick up 1 yard on that play. What we saw Ashton Hollins do well, is he has those extremely long legs. When he gets beyond the line of scrimmage, we're able to see him extend that play with that great length that he has. And again, anytime the Vikings are able to pick up positive yardage on first down, that's important.
Jarius Green lined up in the slot for MGM, and Holland's going to keep this one. I think he's going to take a loss right there, Corey. It'll take MGM to another 3rd and long once again.
Kobe Reed, the 6 foot, 165-pound senior, he's the first Wildcat on the scene. 3rd down and 11 yards to go. I tell you what, the Vikings could have a lot of success with the play action, because you look at the cornerbacks and the defensive backs and the defensive linemen really biting down hard on that run by the Vikings. So anytime you're able to go play action, right here you have a couple of options, Kelton Young being the first and foremost wide receiver he wants to go to.
And that pass incomplete as he tried to get it out to Jarius Green. It'll take MGM to 4th down here. Kind of sitting in no man's land, but they're going to get a time to think about it, Corey. That is the end of the first quarter, so we'll come back on the other side and bring you some second half action. It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
I have known since I was in 4th grade that I was going to be a teacher. I really just truly enjoy coming to work every day and working with different sets of kids and just watching them grow and learn.
I couldn't see myself doing anything other than teaching children, being a part of children's lives, being able to inspire them in a way that some people just aren't able to do. And to know that every day is a new day, a new opportunity to make a difference in the child's life means everything to me.
I believe my child's school is probably one of the best ones I could have picked in Mobile. She's in the PACE program. The teachers are phenomenal. The principal, couldn't ask for a better principal. The research that I had done myself, I believe the quality of education in Mobile County Public School System is excellent. For me and my child, I'm going to stick with the public school system. I think it's the way to go.
When you need to know what's happening in Mobile County Public Schools, watch Inside Education with Helena Tyler for all the latest school news and in-depth reports on issues that affect your child right here on the MCPSS TV network. We're entering the second quarter of action here. MGM averaging 19.4 points a contest, allowing 17.8 on defense, Corey. So kind of almost about even for their offense and defensive output.
Yeah, you look at the situation in the first quarter, the MGM had minus 11 yards because of the high snaps, but they were able to have 27 total passing yards, 16 total yards of offense for MGM, 56 total yards of offense for the Citronelle Wildcats. No turnovers, only 1 penalty in the first quarter, and that was for 15 yards called against the Wildcats. But the Vikings currently have a good drive going, trying to erase that negative 11 yards that they had rushing in the first quarter.
It's 4th and 11 right now, and Coach McCain going for it. We know he is the special teams coach, so I wonder if some trickeration may possibly come in here. They're not punting, but they're going to and there it is, Kel Young. And he is getting wrapped up, but not getting escaping. But Corey is not enough for the first. I'm not surprised at that at all.
Gets back to the line of scrimmage, and you mentioned the special teams guru, not necessarily in that situation as far as punting the football, but they were looking to go deep to Timothy Williams, the 6'3", 175-pound senior, off of the halfback pass, and just weren't able to sustain their blocks at the line of scrimmage. And it's the essential, like you said, no man's land.
Yeah.
The Wildcats take over at their own 35-yard line, trying to go ahead and cushion this 6-0 lead with another long drive.
1st and 10, Wildcats lined up in that pistol formation as they hand it off to Tyler Miller. He just runs into a wall of MGM Vikings. They make quite an impact. Speaking of impact, let's try to get on the impact players for the Citronelle Wildcats as they come to town tonight as the visiting team there.
Citronelle Wildcats, Joe Bird, the junior nose guard, mentioned him earlier, making a tackle, big-time player for the Wildcats defensively. And running back Tyler Miller, you look at the success that he's had rushing the football, has rushed the ball 103 times for 469 yards and 5 touchdowns so far on the season.
Just had that carry, a credit of maybe 1 yard for Miller on that run. and Robinson's just going to keep that one. Decent run right there, picks up maybe 4 or 5, Corey.
Yeah, that's all you could ask for is positive yardage. And there's going to be an MGM Viking down on the play. That's going to be Dante Rogers, the 5'6", 135-pound sophomore who made the tackle but was injured while doing so.
Yeah, Rogers comes in getting the start tonight because Trey Umbarger is out, and that's typically where Ty McMillan plays cornerback. He moved over to strong safety, so getting a look at Rogers down on the field. Hopefully he'll be okay. Slight break in action right here at E.S. Grider Stadium. Al Weed and Corley Bounty down on the sidelines. We have Kimberly Dunn. Speaking of Kim, matter of fact, we'll head down to the sidelines in one moment. She's going to give us a update here in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, I want to follow up on what Principal Campbell talked about.
Right.
These two communities giving back is huge, and that's what it's all about. You look at it, hashtag Sid going up, and that's very impressive that both these schools can give back.
All right, let's take it down to the sidelines. Check in with Kimberly Dunn.
Speaking of those schools, and I was able to speak with the coaches before the game and kind of talk to them about what they want their players to come away with. And, of course, both of them are going to say, we want this win tonight. But more than that, they wanted both of their teams to play with effort and to play like they haven't seen this season so far. They wanted them to come away with a victory, but also be proud of the work that they did on the field. So hopefully these coaches will be able to come away tonight having a pride in their players, and the players having a pride in themselves and what they've accomplished on the field tonight.
Thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate that. That's definitely something Coach Jason Barnett talked about. Wanted the effort. Mentioned it earlier how they didn't get the effort last week with Faith Academy. We're going to take a break and come back. Hopefully everything's going to work out. We'll have more action for you with the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
At Mobile County Public Schools, we believe it starts with us. That's why we offer Signature Academies.
I'm Tracy Tran, and I'm in the Healthcare and Dental Academy at Theodore High School. In the Dental Academy, I'm working alongside dental professionals getting hands-on training from those already working in the industry. Shadowing them on the job makes me want to work even harder because now I know what I want to be.
Signature Academies are open to all students in Mobile County Public High Schools. To find out more, visit mcpss.com.
We are back here for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Look at Dante Rogers coming off the field there on his own power, so that's always a good thing there, Corey.
Without question, again, he was the player who made the tackle on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 4.5 yards to go for Citronelle as they're trying to continue to have momentum going offensively.
Big play right here as the PA guy announces it. Viking faithful getting up. That's not going to be enough. Going to be a bit short. It'll be 4th down with the keeper from Robinson right there. Maybe about a yard or 2 short.
And it's a situation now where if you're head coach Jason Barnett, you have to make a decision. Do you want to go ahead and try to get this 1 yard right where you are in your own side of the territory? And I don't see the punting squad coming out, so it looks like he's going to go ahead and roll the dice and try to get this 1 yard. It'll be a huge stop, and the Vikings can stop him right here.
Tyler Miller in the backfield. Robinson's going to keep it and bull his way up the middle. It's going to be close as the officials come in, Corey, depending on where the spot is. From our vantage point atop the press box, it looks like it's going to be a 1st down.
And I think it's going to be about as close as you can get. White hat Tim Porter is signaling it to be a 1st down. So 1st and 10 Wildcats. They're going to continue to grind out this clock as we have 9:56 remaining here in the 2nd quarter.
Good effort shown by Citronelle right there, something Coach Jason Barnett wanted. And the young man took the ball under his lead and went straight forward. Corey picks up that 1st down.
I like that because it shows a lot of confidence not only in your quarterback but your offensive line as well. Let's see if they're able to capitalize off of that momentum.
Little end around there for Citronelle, and that is going nowhere. MGM pushing them back, trying to get some crackback blocks, and you know what that means. We're going to get some flags on the play. And one comes in from head official Tim Porter.
We've seen both head coaches go to their playbooks and their tricks early in tonight's contest, as both of these coaches are in their 2nd year as head coaches of their respective schools. So again, looking across from one another, almost mirror images in regards to the time that they spent with their squads.
Waiting for the call here from Tim Porter. And they're walking it off, so it'll be against Citronelle. Let's get the exact call from him. So that penalty going against Citronelle, we pretty much know it's going to be a block in the back, Corey. I think referee Tim Porter is now going to give us the call.
Personal foul, defensive player on the offensive team, 15-yard penalty, remains first down.
Well, that's the big one right there, and it takes them way out of field position because that's from the spot of the foul. So it is first down, but it's, I like to say, Corey, it's first in the country mile right now.
It definitely is. Somewhere on 98 is that first down marker.
Coming around the edge, being pushed out of bounds, Brandon Washington maybe picked up 2 or 3. Let's take a look at the coaches' comparison. You were just talking about both of these coaches, both in their second year as head coaches. Citronelle head coach Jason Barnett, 10-6 in his overall. Second year Citronelle has a .625 winning percentage. People be surprised to know he loves American history. Got a story behind it later. Graduate of Escambia County. If he wasn't a football coach, educator, he'd be working in sales. And Coach Stan McCain, we know about him, second year, 6-9 overall. And with his record over in Mississippi, he has a .582 career winning percentage, and he loves to hunt when he is not on the field. That pass incomplete, trying to get it out to Washington. It's another long third down here for Citronelle.
Third down and 34 yards to go. Here, if you're the Vikings, what you cannot afford to happen is for anything to get behind you. You look at the instant replay as the Citronelle quarterback, Jamarcus Robinson, rolls over to his right, just overthrows the intended wide receiver. It does stop the clock here with 9:01 remaining here in the second quarter. But again, you cannot have any miscommunication in the secondary if you are the Vikings. You want to keep everything in front of you. You don't want to gamble. You want to make sure that if you're going to commit a penalty, that it is going to be an opportunity to where you don't give up the touchdown, maybe just a pass interference instead.
Play clock running down, so Coach Barnett has to burn a timeout right there to prevent, as you just talked about, a penalty from picking up 5 yards. Before the ball game, I asked him, I said, well, Coach, what is it about American history that you like? He said, well, he has some heritage that goes way back. He has a grandfather who survived the attack of Fort Mims, and he has a pocket knife that is in the Alabama State Archive in Montgomery. So he said, if it wasn't for that one grandfather who survived, I may not be here, because he lost 4 other grandfathers in that attack, Corey.
Yeah, it's a situation to where you like to see coaches having passion and hobbies other than coaching football. We have a lot of coaches, like you said, love to hunt, love to fish, so it's just not all about playing between these lines on Friday nights. They have hobbies, and we love to bring that coach's comparison to kind of show you the realm of coaching outside of the game of football.
All right, third and long here as the players come back on the field. That little timeout taken by Citronelle leave them with 2 timeouts remaining here in the first half, just right at 9 minutes remaining in the first half. Don't forget, at halftime we'll have the Chick-fil-A halftime trivia challenge. Plus, take a look at both of the bands tonight. Last time we were here, it was homecoming for MGM, Cora. Robinson rolling out, can't connect with anyone. That coverage by MGM, they had everyone surrounded, so he's going to have to take the sack almost near the goal line there and brought down, but smartly he stays in the field of play, does not drift into the end zone.
I absolutely love the fact that everyone stayed in their containment lanes, and you look at this situation, Eric Mills from his linebacker position does a wonderful job, 5'11", 200-pound senior, forcing the Wildcats to punt from that checkered end zone closest to the MGM locker room.
Damian Miller in the end zone back there near the end line. I think he'll have enough room. He shouldn't be able to step out. Lining up at the 40-yard line, there he is, C.J. Wallace. Miller gets it off, possibly was tipped. Wallace catches it on the bounce. On the move as he escapes Gerasio Benjamin and comes up the numbers. And Corey, that is going to be a 40-yard punt return for a touchdown C.J. Wallace, and the Vikings are on the board.
I mentioned earlier on the first punt, if he fields it cleanly, he has the explosiveness and elusiveness to take it to the house. Well, on the second punt, the Wildcats gave him an opportunity to field it. He set up the lanes, had a nice move, a nice little crisp juke move, planted his foot, made the defender miss. You look at it, catches it on the bounce, follows it all the way in, goes to the right sidelines, quick cut back right there. Oh, he made a miss again, and now he's going to take it to the house for 6. That's a wonderful special teams score for the Vikings.
Chris Brewer on for the PAT. We'll call it a 42-yard punt return for C.J. Wallace. And Corey, that was a nice demonstration the young man put on right there.
And again, improvement on kickoff coverage. They gave up a couple of special teams touchdowns to the LaFleur Rattlers.
Illegal substitution on the defensive team, 12 men in the formation. We're going to replay the try.
And again, now you're in a situation to where you didn't give it up on the kickoff, but you gave it up on a punt return situation. The Vikings special teams can come through and give them the lead right here.
Chris Brewer with the extra point. It is up and good. So MGM takes the lead 7-6, 7:58 remaining here in the second quarter. Explosive play by C.J. Wallace.
Yeah,
right
I mean, he followed his blockers, made sure he set them up perfectly. And again, the biggest thing for the Vikings right there is they did not have a penalty on that special teams play.
Right.
They were able to go ahead and pin the Wildcats back deep into their own territory, which created a positive field situation for them. Was able to get 6 on the board, tagged on the special point, the extra point, and that makes it 7-6. Again, we talk about that huge miss by the Wildcats on their first score of the game, may come back to bite them. Now you look at this MGM crowd, they're right back in it now, leading 7-6 all the Vikings.
Good ball game we have right here, 7-6, as we're getting close to halftime, almost about 7 minutes. Let's take a look at last week's scores throughout the area with some of the MCPSS schools here. Theodore all over Bryant. We had that game down in the eye. Davidson takes a loss to Fairhope in a 7A Region 1 battle. Jackson blanked Viger 18-0. It was McGill-Tulane all over Mayor Montgomery. Spanish Force shuts out BC Rain 45-0. And we talked about Citronelle losing to Faith Academy last week. Williamson all over Monroe County. Blunt picks up a win 25-7. And Foley is shut out by Baker 31-0. So some look at the MCPSS high school scoreboard from last week.
And you're looking at some scores this week. Saraland all over LaFleur early in the second quarter, 28-0, and some other local scores. Daphne leading Fairhope 7-6 in the second quarter. Faith Academy leaving Robbinsdale 14-0. Right here, we're 7-6, and it's 0-0 between Murphy and Viger. UMS up 7-0 over Mobile Christian. And Williamson and BC Rain, no score so far from Tremere Park.
Brewer kind of puts that one in the air, and a fair catch call by Citronelle. Smart move right there. Get some good field position. Ball at about the 20-21-yard line.
Now you want to see the Wildcats be able to capitalize in the situation right here. So again, the Wildcats just looking to bounce back in that negative situation. That penalty was what really made them have third down and some 34 yards to go, which made them punt from their own end zone. Now the Vikings, we'll see if they come out and are playing with a lot more energy, enthusiasm defensively, especially holding the Wildcats to a punting situation on the last possession.
Jamarcus Robinson in the backfield, empty set for him. One receiver in motion, and he's going to keep it up the middle for about 1 or 2 yards. It'll take Citronelle to second down.
Yeah, that's a design quarterback keeper for the Wildcats, and not much of a gain, if any, by Citronelle right there. And they're going to have to get that push up front. Jason Barnett mentioned it earlier that his team has to establish the run. They're going to give them 1.5 yards on that first down carry. And offensive coordinator C.J. Herring, early in the first possession, Zach Bird, Justin Reed, center Jackson Delaney got the type of push that they needed down by the goal line against this Viking defense. But here, Uncle Mo has reared its head, and now the momentum's in favor of the Vikings.
You're right about that, Corey. Second and about 8 here for Citronelle. Washington in motion. They faked the handoff. And Robinson throws it, intending to get it, that ball out to Kobe Reed, but had too much air underneath it. It's going to be 3rd and long for the Wildcats.
Yeah, that's a situation now where, Al, 3rd down and long to go. If you're the Vikings secondary, I cannot emphasize it enough. You have to communicate and know where you're supposed to be. The wheel route out of the backfield burned them on the first possession to where on 3rd down and long the Wildcats were able to convert. You don't want to see that happen here in the secondary if you're a Vikings fan.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if that play is called back up again. Miller in the backfield with Robinson. And he's trying to air it out, does have a man, but it's double coverage down there. And not hauling it in, but that ball's intercepted, but then fumbled, Corey. And I believe that was Trey Umbarger. We talked about him having spot play, but he dropped it. Or was he down by contact? Let's see.
It's a situation where it's going to be a turnover no matter how you look at it. Umbarger is in the football game. As you look at Citronelle dropping back Robinson's pass, looks like it's going to be tipped away, and Umbarger is able to come underneath it. He fumbles it away, and the Vikings are able to pounce on, I do believe it's linebacker Eric Mills, on Johnny on the spot, saving that possession. So even though it's a turnover for the Wildcats, it's essentially like a punt. If the Vikings are able to convert and put points on the board off of the turnover, that's the statistic that most coaches are going to look. How did you score? Did you get points off of turnovers, or was it just a swap and field position?
So that interception dropped by Umbarger, but hopped on by Mills, as you pointed out. And that pass out to Kel Young, incomplete. No flags on the play. A lot of the Viking faithful thinking some pass interference right there. But Corey, on that replay, when we looked at it, it looked like the ball was completed to Washington, but as he went to the ground, it just magically popped up into Trey Umbarger's hands, and he took off with it.
Yeah, and that's a situation to where Umbarger was very happy that he had the interception, but had to take care of the football. We look at the replay
Johnny
here,
on the spot there,
and it is a great throw. Extended, but there's two defenders right there. The tip drill, Umbarger does have it, has it, and just loses it as it hits his own body, and Mills is able to pounce on top of it.
Edrin Houston on the run, and boy, he is smacked and brought down for a loss by Citronelle. Give him a hand on the head there. Kobe Reed with a great tackle. That's a loss. It'll be 3rd and long for MGM. Vikings looking over to the sideline to get the call. Under 20 seconds remaining on the play clock here. Don't forget, at halftime we'll have the bands, but also we'll have that Chick-fil-A halftime trivia challenge where we'll get Kimberly Dunn to go into the stands and get a spectator asking some questions. Hopefully they'll win that Chick-fil-A prize pack. Edrin Houston rolling out. They get it to Kel Young, trying to set the screen up for him, and in once again on the tackle, Corey. I've called his name already, Kobe Reed.
Great tackle in space by the linebacker, and you try to get the football to your big playmaker. I say big. Kelton Young, small in stature at 5'6", but if he catches the ball cleanly, he has explosiveness and is able to show you his great burst of speed. Now, 4th down, 12 yards to go, right at the 42-yard line of the Vikings. They're going to try to flip the field and make the Wildcats essentially work very, very hard.
Let's take it out to the sidelines, check in with Kimberly Dunn.
I'm here with the Signature Academy specialist, Miss Tara Price. How are you doing tonight?
Good, thank you.
All right, so since you're the Signature Academy specialist, tell us a little bit about what MGM has to offer.
MGM has 6 exciting academies here that we offer. Our Signature Academy is Biomedical Sciences. It has 2 different pathways, biomedical science and sports medicine. So students that are in the 8th grade that are not zoned for MGM are eligible to transfer through the Signature Academy. So if they are interested in pursuing anything in the medical field, this is the place to be.
That's awesome. I wish they had this while I was in high school, because I think I would have been able to focus my career path. So how has that benefited the students here?
I think it has 2 benefits. One, for those students that think they know what they want to do, and they take the classes and they do realize this is their career path, this is what they want to do, and they continue on with that career path. But I think it also helps those students that also thought they knew what they wanted to do, and they take the courses and figure out it is not for them. And that helps them in the way of preventing getting to college and wasting time, wasting money, and then they can change one time after their 10th grade and pursue something different.
That's awesome. I think these signature academies are wonderful. They help the students focus and zero in on exactly what they want to do. Well, thank you for taking the time and telling us about what MGM has to offer.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Kimberly, we appreciate that touchback on the punt there for MGM. And Corey, I couldn't believe it, but I have to double check. It is fall. I looked at my watch. It's September 27th, and that was a heat timeout.
It really was a heat timeout, and I tell you, it's the hottest that it's been this late in September, about to start the first week of October. And normally you're looking at probably close to 71, 72 degrees at this point in time. But Chris Brewer, with his longest punt on the season, flips the field for the Vikings.
Miller on the run for the Wildcats. Picks up maybe one, possibly two, taking Citronelle to second down as we inch closer to the 5-minute mark here remaining in the first half.
Again, you like the flow. Besides the one injury and a couple of penalties, we've had a good flow to this game so far. Second down and 8 yards to go for the Citronelle Wildcats. As they're trying to, on that first drive, they had a lot of momentum off of busted plays in the secondary. Now the Vikings have settled in and are keeping everything in front of them and are doing a good job of just holding down their own positions.
Wildcats on the move. Once again, Tyler Miller with the carry. Picks up a couple. It'll be 3rd and about 5 here for Citronelle.
Big play right here for Citronelle. As we mentioned, the Vikings were able to take that last 4th down punt to the house as C.J. Wallace, he may not know what a landline is, Al, but he definitely used and made a house call on that last punt by the Wildcats. But it'll be interesting to see right here what the Wildcats are able to come away with on 3rd down and 5, because it'll do wonders for the momentum if they're able to get a fresh set of downs.
Robinson's just going to keep it, weave his way up the middle, had a nice big running lane provided by that offensive line, all seniors, and that's a first down for the Wildcats.
Just what the doctor ordered. Offensive coordinator C.J. Herring dials up the quarterback draw, and he takes it between his strong spot right there over right guard, Caleb Pulaski, and Harold Rocker, like you mentioned, the big offensive line getting it done on that right side, able to pick up that fresh set of downs, keeps the clock ticking, but more importantly, keeps the MGM defense on the field a little bit longer.
It does, as we approach 3 minutes remaining here in the second half. This MGM defense has been on the field a lot tonight. Robinson handed that one off to his back in the ball game for Citronelle. Kane Reed on the run there.
Sean Maxwell, the middle linebacker, 6'1", 180-pound junior. He's an impact player making the stop for the Vikings. Second down and 7 yards to go now for the Wildcats with 3:10 remaining here in the second quarter.
This drive started at the 20-yard line. Citronelle needs to possibly, Corey, pick this pace up a little bit as we approach just under 2:50 remaining in the second. And there's a pass right there, too high for Kobe Reed. It'll take Citronelle to 3rd down. Chick-fil-A halftime trivia challenge will be coming up with Kimberly Dunn. She'll head up into the stands and get a spectator, ask them a question. Of course, give them that multiple choice answer, the one that you love, Corey, and hopefully they'll get it correct and walk away with a Chick-fil-A prize pack, and we'll watch the cow do a little dance later on. The Chick-fil-A halftime trivia challenge.
And I love the play action call by the Citronelle Wildcats on that second down play. You want to go ahead and suck the defense in, and if you make that throw accurately, you give your wide receiver Kobe Reed an opportunity to make the play.
Hey, it was a good call, just a bit high. They go wet once again. Brandon Washington hauls it in right about the 50-yard line, gets past the midfield stripe. And that'll be a first down, and moving the chains is Jamarcus Robinson for Citronelle.
Marlon Sampson misses the tackle from his free safety position. C.J. Wallace makes sure he's on cleanup duty, and you see the missed tackle right there, and Wallace is able to push him out of bounds, but not before the Wildcats, with 2:33 remaining here in the second quarter, get a fresh set of downs, cross the midfield stripe for the second time tonight.
That was a good crisp pass for Robinson. The previous pass was a bit high, kind of floated it, but that one right on the money And that first down was definitely needed. Stop the clock to move the chains, but that clock's back moving. And they're going to keep it up, moving up the middle once again, running through that A gap. Jamarcus Robinson picks up about 7 or 8 yards. Big run for the Wildcats.
Trey Umbarger on the stop for the Vikings, and it was interesting when we talked to Stan McCain earlier in the pregame. We didn't know if Umbarger was going to even play tonight.
Right.
You know, you want to save him possibly for region play, but he's such a difference maker. We called his name numerous times a couple of weeks ago against Murphy.
Well, losing Rogers, I don't know if he's gone for the entire night. You kind of had to bring Umbarger in at that point, Corey, so maybe not by choice, but just had to do what you had to do. Tyler Miller does what he has to do, and he picks up the first down. That's going to stop the clock momentarily to move the sticks as Citronelle is on the move. This drive started at their own 20-yard line.
2 timeouts remaining by the Wildcats. 2nd down and 3 yards to go. The ball will be spotted in play. The clock will continue to run. 1st and 10 now once the sticks are moved. And it's a situation now where if the Wildcats have a play-action play right here, you're able to stop the clock on 1st down. I would take my shot right here if I'm the Wildcats.
Maybe dial up that wheel route again we saw earlier. Washington throws it off his back foot. Had 2 receivers there in the area, Tyler Jennings, but Brandon Washington reels it in for another 1st down.
Brandon Washington with his 9th reception on the season has 1 receiving touchdown. If he doesn't fall right there, 2 wide receivers in the same area, but a great job by Jamarcus Robinson rolling out, and as he tried to plant his feet, did Washington, he just slips and falls, and he's kind of mad at himself, but that's going to be either an injury timeout on that far sideline for the Wildcats or some type of cramp.
Corey, according to my binoculars, he was having his shoelaces tied.
All righty. Well, you know, the coaches are right there, Johnny, on the spot.
But I believe they did take a timeout, so Citronelle took a timeout to stop the clock. Now, that play looked like possibly that wheel route play as Miller came out of the backfield, but you could see he kind of hesitated as one of the Vikings stayed home with him, Corey. He had his eyes right on him.
Yeah, it's very important, though, Al, that they did pick up that fresh set of downs, and now they're at the 24-yard line of the Vikings, the deepest that they've been since the opening drive that they had that put 6 points on the board.
Yeah.
Now with the clock in your favor at 1:08, you have an opportunity to get at least 6 or 7 plays off here if you have your 2-minute offense run correctly, because you have those timeouts in your pocket as well as being able to stop the clock by getting the football out of bounds, either throwing or passing.
1st down ball on the 24-yard line of MGM, 1:08 remaining in the 1st half. Citronelle down to 1 timeout. Low snap, and Robinson cannot haul it in, and falling on top of it is MGM. Johnny on the spot for MGM, Kaysen Barton, Corey.
The nose tackle, 5'11", 225-pound senior, comes away with a huge turnover for the Vikings. And you look at Citronelle, that's their 2nd turnover. We've had 1 that was due to an interception, and now you have 1 that is going to be a Call's fumble. 1:03 remaining. The Vikings now have 1 timeout, and they have an opportunity to get this football out to their playmaker. I would like to see Kelton Young find a way to get this football, because he's the speedster who can get the football and make positive things happen.
Speaking of speed, coming around the edge, Edgerrin Houston, and he's trying to duck and dodge and fake out some of the Wildcats. He picks up about 7 or 8 on the run as we are under 1 minute remaining here in the 1st half.
Offensive coordinator Grady McCluskey for the Vikings, urging his team to hurry up and possibly clock this ball. 2nd down and 2 yards to go now for MGM.
A lot of time running off here, Corey. A lot of time running off. Handing it off to Houston once again. If he gets the 1st down, it'll stop the clock momentarily. Stops at 26.2 seconds here before the half.
Does pick up the 1st down now. You're right at the 43-yard line. You have an opportunity again still to take your shot as the Citronelle Wildcats look like they're a bit confused or fatigued on defense. So just give your quarterback time to throw this football.
Little quick out to Kel Young. They got the screen set up for him. But that's not enough. I was wondering if Coach McCain's going to burn the timeout, and he does not so far. I think he's just going to let it run out, Corey.
Kobe Young on the stop right here as we're getting ready to go to halftime.
And that is it. So we'll go to halftime with MGM on top 7-6. Interesting last part of the second quarter as Citronelle was building on a possible 80-yard scoring drive, Corey, and they cough up the fumble at the 24-yard line.
Yeah, it was a situation to where I know coming in, Citronelle had turned their opponents over several times and controlled the plus-minus game, but so far tonight aren't able to do so.
Let's take it down to the field to Kimberly Dunn.
Coach McCain, how do you feel about your team's performance so far in tonight's game?
Not too good right now. Hadn't getting anything going on offense. We're giving up some runs on defense. We're not playing very well.
So what are you going to say to motivate your team to perform better coming into the second half?
I don't know what I can say to motivate them. It's going to be their motivation. They've got to dig down within and see what motivates them.
So what are some things specifically that y'all are needing to fix and come back and win this football game?
Well, offensively, we can't get anything sustained. We're missing blocks. Hadn't gotten, putting first downs together. Defensively, we got to get off field on third downs. This last drive right here, we couldn't get off on third down.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach. Get to your team.
Thank you.
All right, Kimberly, we appreciate that. Pretty much Coach McCain pretty blunt about it, Corey. We hadn't done anything on offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's a situation now where they're +2 in the turnover situation, but he's not happy about that. You look at the points off turnovers, not really a factor. The big, huge punt return by C.J. Wallace is the difference in this contest. The missed extra point also for the Citronelle Wildcats. It'll be interesting to hear what Coach Barnett has to say to Kimberly coming out of the half, what he told his team as well. Both coaches, aren't pleased, but we have a great contest, and we knew it would be that tonight in this non-region game.
All right, we'll be back with halftime, Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge, the bands and stats and the whole nine. It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
My name is Harshini. I'm a junior at Davidson High School, and after graduation, I plan on pursuing a career in dermatology. Currently, I'm taking science classes such as AP Chemistry, Biology, and Human Anatomy, which will help me pursue my career. I feel as though Mobile County is preparing me for my career choice in that they provide rigorous classes that help me think further beyond just what I'm learning. I'm Harshini Cannon, a junior at Davidson High School, and I'm learning today so I can be a leader tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Todd.
And I'm Terry, and we'd like to invite you to join us as we take a look at nature in ways that you've never seen before.
Come travel with us as we go coast to coast to uncover some of the most interesting animals.
And some of the most beautiful scenery that's offered outdoors.
You can join us on our nature adventures right here on the MCPSS TV network.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Is she gonna get it, Daddy?
She'll get it. Get it. Get it.
When you bring home a Goodwill find, you give your whole town a reason to celebrate because you're also funding local job training and placement programs in tech, healthcare, and more. Goodwill. Bring good home.
We welcome you back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. It's halftime. Let's go down to the field and listen at the marching Wildcats of Citronelle High School. halftime here at the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. MGM on top 7-6 over Citronelle. And today's students are being prepared for tomorrow. And with Mobile County Public Schools, we are learning today and leading tomorrow.
Why Mobile County Public Schools? We can tell you a multitude of reasons, but we'd rather show you. We're producing college and career-ready graduates equipped to compete and excel in a global economy.
We're doing it by providing rigorous, relevant instruction that challenges students to not only learn facts and equations, but to think critically and globally. We're doing this by providing multiple pathways to college and career readiness, such as our 12 signature academies that focus on specific career fields in demand in the Mobile area.
We're doing it by hiring and supporting quality teachers, administrators, and support personnel, and providing them with the tools to succeed, both in terms of technology and professional development.
With 88 schools and about 54,000 students, more than 7,200 employees, we are Alabama's largest public school system.
We have 13 national Blue Ribbon schools, 7 magnet schools, 4 schools with IB designations, a year-round school at Bondi Elementary, and more than 60 classrooms that offer Alabama's award-winning first-class pre-K program.
We're giving our elementary students a solid foundation through robotics and other STEM programs, project-based learning, makerspace collaboration labs, the PACE program for gifted students, and numerous other initiatives. Several of our elementary schools are demonstration sites for Talents Unlimited.
Innovative high school programs such as University of Alabama Early College at Murphy, the Cambridge program at Alma Bryant, and the AP Capstone at Baker give our students a head start towards college, along with a variety of advanced placement and dual enrollment opportunities at our high schools.
Our students earn more than 15,000 career credentials and were offered $159 million in scholarships in 2019. We have raised our graduation rate to 86%.
But we're determined to do more. We get up every day ready to give 110% to ensure that we're producing well-rounded students and graduates who are ready to meet the challenges of the 21st century. And we're going to do just that.
In Mobile County Public Schools, we are learning today, leading tomorrow.
All right, it is time for the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. Let's take it into the stands and visit with Kimberly Dunn.
Oh, we're here with the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. Sorry, we were still talking about everything beforehand. How are you doing this evening?
I'm great.
All right, so who are you supporting here tonight?
Mary G, Titarius McMillan.
Oh, yeah. So I see your Viking Pride shirts that you all have on. I love them. I love them. Are you ready for your Chick-fil-A question?
I am.
Okay. So in 1995, Heather Whitestone achieved this accomplishment despite her disability. And it's multiple choice, so here are your choices. Was she the first female to step onto the moon? Did she win the LPGA title? Did she win the Miss America title? Or did she win the NASCAR series?
I would say B.
You believe that she won the LPGA title? That is actually not it, but I'm going to give you one more chance. Let's see if you can get it. See, she won the Miss America title? Yes, that is correct. She won the Miss America title. She is actually an Alabama native, and she was deaf. And for her talent, she performed by dancing, but she felt the music through her feet, even though she couldn't hear. So here is your wonderful Chick-fil-A prize pack. Let me show you some of the goodies we got in here, which, of course, everything you get to keep and share if you want to. We have a Mobile County Public School System's cup and some bracelets, but the coolest thing, some Chick-fil-A gift cards that you can either use for yourself or somebody else. We have a cozy and some sunglasses, and you get this awesome bag to carry it all in. Thank you so much for talking with us tonight. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of the football game.
Thank you, Kimberly. That is the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge, and we got us a winner there. Be with us. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break and come back with the MGM Marching Viking Band. It is halftime for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
Pink Floyd and Independence Day. Featured soloists are Maddie Alexander and Kendall Watt.
At Mobile County Public Schools, we believe it starts with us. That's why we offer Signature Academies.
I'm Tracy Tran, and I'm in the Healthcare and Dental Academy at Theodore High School. In the Dental Academy, I'm working alongside dental professionals getting hands-on training from those already working in the industry. Shadowing them on the job makes me want to work even harder because now I know what I want to be.
Signature Academies are open to all students in Mobile County Public High Schools. To find out more, visit MCPSS.com.
Let's take it down to the field and enjoy the sounds of the mighty marching Viking band of Mary G. Montgomery.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
The President of the United States is in his office now and would like to say a few words to you. Over.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House. Because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's world.
spoiled kids for men. One fire loose for men.
Let's give it up one more time for the MGM Viking Marching Band. We would like to thank the wonderful city of Sims and A. Schillinger Self-Storage for their continued support. Skol Vikings!
That was the sound of the MGM Mighty Marching Viking Band. We'll be back after this break and talk about second half stats. Hopefully we'll get to talk with Coach Jason Barnett and talk about second half adjustments. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
When it comes to getting your child through school, at times it can be overwhelming.
What school to choose, what classes to take, how to apply for college.
To help answer these questions and more, we would like to invite you to join us on Parent Connect as we take an in-depth look at some of the issues and concerns you may have about your child's education.
So get connected with Parent Connect, weekly right here on the MCPSS TV network.
A trunk-or-treat event is coming to Langham Park, hosted by the Mobile Police Department and Mobile Fire Rescue, Saturday, October the 19th from 4 to 8 p.m. It's a free, fun, and safe Halloween event for the entire family. Spooky fun throughout the park, police vehicles and fire trucks on display, costume contests for prizes, and lots of candy for trick-or-treaters. Join us October the 19th, 4 to 8 p.m. at Langham Park.
Al Whedon joined by Coralie Bounty down on the sidelines as Kimberly Dunn. MGM on top 7-6 over Citronelle. And Corey, quite an interesting first half. You would say one score in the first quarter and one score in the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, we knew we were going to have a great non-regional matchup right here. Again, these two communities not located too far apart from one another.
Yeah.
But when you have an opportunity to look here at the first half stats, I think the one thing that stands out to me is the rushing yards by Citronelle. 45 rushing yards to -7 for MGM, and that's because of a couple of bad snaps on the first possession that lost negative 20 yards there. Passing yards, Citronelle leads 51-32. The total yards, Citronelle 96 to MGM's 25. The two turnovers, though, that's the difference. No points off turnovers really for the Vikings, but the penalties also 2 for 30 against Citronelle. MGM's only score coming off a 41-yard punt return in the second quarter by C.J. Wallace. Citronelle scoring, like you mentioned, in the first quarter at the 3:35 mark. So, again, a pretty clean game from a penalty standpoint, but both teams are going to leave it all out here on the field for these next 24 minutes.
Yeah, you're right about that. In that second quarter, late in the second quarter, Citronelle was building on an 80-yard possible scoring drive, Corey, but on the 9th play of that drive, a fumbled snap where Robinson puts it on the carpet, and Johnny on the spot is Kason Barton for MGM.
Yeah, I think that's huge. But again, points off turnovers is what's important. Is you look at this punt return by C.J. Wallace, he fields the ball, looks at it perfectly, and he makes a couple of moves, puts his foot in the turf right there, and then cuts back again toward the sidelines. Nice juke move, and he was able to secure that wall of blockers, take it to the house. The point after attempt was what was huge. That's the difference between a tied ball game and a one-point ball game. On the scoreboard right now, the MGM Vikings leading by 1, trying to sustain this type of momentum. They won the coin toss and they deferred, so they will receive the second half kickoff, and we'll see if they're able to build off of that and see what Coach Stan McCain talked about at halftime.
Now, speaking of that, Corey, second half adjustments, what would you say they are for MGM? Because Coach McCain wasn't happy about his offense, and put it mildly, that pretty much was the offense with that touchdown right there.
I think you just, again, you have to eliminate the explosive plays by the Wildcats. Anything over 20 yards or more is considered explosive by Coach Stan McCain. You have to continue to take care of the football. You had no turnovers in the first half. You want to make sure that continues to be the case here in the second half as well. If you're able to manufacture and steal points off special teams, by all means, if you're coach, you'd be happy about that.
Yeah, we know coming into this ball game tonight, Citronelle had a +10 on the turnover ratio, and now they're down to +8, giving up 2 turnovers, but they have not taken advantage and gotten a turnover themselves tonight. And we're speaking of Citronelle, we're waiting on them to come onto the field because, as you just talked about, Corey, MGM is going to be receiving this ball. C.J. Wallace and Kel Young back there to receive the kickoff. As you can see, Damian Miller putting down the tee right there at the 40-yard line.
I think the biggest thing for the Citronelle Wildcats, again, you turn the ball over twice, no points off of those turnovers by the Vikings. You have to make sure that you continue to value and take care of the football and not allow the Vikings to get any points off of any turnovers that you may commit here in the second half.
All right, here we go, second half kickoff. Miller puts his foot into it, and Kel Young is going to bring it in. Up the middle he goes, a lot of room. Can the kicker stop him? And no, he cannot, Corey. He is possibly taking it to the house. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Kel Young on the kickoff returns. It's all special teams tonight for MGM, but there is a Wildcat player down at the 25-yard line of MGM, and he is writhing in pain right now.
It looks like it's a situation where he was worried about his knee, but again, you're looking at special teams play. You looked at my checklist coming up. The Wildcats had to improve on their kickoff coverage, and in that situation, they did not. This is their third special teams touchdown that has been given up by the Citronelle Wildcats. LaFleur scored 2 kickoff touchdowns in one game. Now the Vikings are able to go ahead and put 6 more on the board. That's exactly the bolster of momentum that you want coming out of the half. Unfortunately, it looks like the young man down there, he was writhing in pain, grabbing his knee in the situation. But you look at MGM, we talked about what they had to do. They had to eliminate explosive plays over 20 yards. They had to play disciplined and with Viking values, and they had to take care of the football.
Okay.
Did an outstanding job of doing that in the first half because they had no turnovers, and they played very disciplined as well. You look at the turnover situation, there weren't that many, penalty yards. There weren't any penalty yards either, so they did a great job. You look at the Wildcats, conversely, the Wildcats had to win up front and be able to rush the football. So far in this first half, you look at the rushing ability by the Citronelle Wildcats only having 45 yards. They had to improve on kickoff coverage. They did not do that, just gave up 6, and they needed to finish the game healthy. Well, 2 out of my 3 right there on the checklist were critical because now you're having an opportunity to where you see the young man coming off of the field. That's Alan Banks, the 180-pound junior on special teams, being helped off, not putting a lot of weight on that leg.
Right.
And they give off the kickoff. So 2 out of the 3 things coming out immediately out of the half goes in favor of the Vikings and against the Wildcats.
Low snap, but that kick is up and through for Brewer. MGM extends their lead by 8, 14-6. We'll be back with more action. It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
Parents, will your child be 4 years of age on or before September 1st, 2020? If so, mark your calendar for this January for pre-K open enrollment. In order to enroll your child, you must complete the online pre-K registration. For a complete list of pre-K sites as well as screening information and selection dates, visit mcpss.com. For your chance to be a part of Alabama's first-class pre-K program, log on this January. In Mobile County Public Schools, we are learning today, leading tomorrow.
Welcome back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Thanks to Jim and Susie Sherman at the Greenlock Road location for taking care of us with the Firehouse subs. Oh, they are so delicious. Enjoy more subs and save more lives with Firehouse subs. Future One's in the house with us, where you can get team apparel and equipment from baseball to wrestling and all sports in between. Wear the future with Future Ones, and the future looking bright for Kel Young. Corey extending the lead 14-6. 95-yard kickoff return, and he took it to the house. I know Coach McCain wasn't too happy about the offense, but he's going to have to wait another series to see his offense because his special teams is showing out tonight.
Yeah, what's important is now that the Vikings find a way to get a stop and not give the Wildcats any type of momentum. Now leading 14-6, they've been able to convert both extra points, and that's huge because now if the Wildcats are able to have any type of score here in the second half, if it's a touchdown, they're going to have to go for 2 to tie the game because, again, Al, when you look at coming out of the locker room and asking your team at halftime, challenging your team at halftime, both coaches, if you're MGM, Stan McCain, you're saying, hey, we need to go ahead and answer the bell quickly. If you're the Wildcats, Jason Barnett, you're saying, hey, guys, we want to come out and dominate the second half, the next 24 minutes. They weren't able to do so on the opening kickoff.
Robinson on the keeper right there picks up about 4 or 5. That was a good return by Kobe Reed, putting Citronelle at the 48-yard line, and now they're across the midfield stripe with that carry by Robinson. It'll be second down and about 5. But I noticed leading the MGM defense onto the field, Corey, Trey Umbarger, and man, he was lit, telling his defensive guys, come on, let's go, let's keep it going. So he had what probably Coach McCain is talking about, get that fire, get that effort going. He doesn't want his Vikings to give up any points right here off of that big kickoff return from Cale Young. Miller up the middle, and he's met by a wall of Vikings he cannot climb over. It'll take them to third down and about 5.
Just like that, it is third down and 5 yards to go as the Vikings, if they're not able to convert here on this situation, they will at least be able to flip the field and hopefully get some type of good punt that will pin the Vikings back deep in their own territory.
There's look at Trey Umbarger right there, Corey. He had to come on in tonight after Dante Rogers going out with an early injury in the first quarter. So 3rd and 5 right here for Citronelle. Big play early in the third quarter after giving up a 95-yard kickoff return to Cale Young. All the scoring has been done by special teams for MGM. No offensive points tonight for the Vikings. Robinson's going to keep it on that quarterback draw design, and he's going up the middle around the edge. Out to the numbers, Corey, for a big run of about 10, maybe 15 yards. It'll be first down for Citronelle at the 33-yard line.
I like the fact that he's running for a purpose and with a purpose. You look at the young man who got the start over Michael Harvey tonight, who was out with the injury. Harvey was the starting quarterback, had attempted 77 passes, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Jamarcus Robinson has played quarterback the last 3 years for the Wildcats and has experience there, so it's not like you're putting somebody a deer in headlights, so to speak, but right. Robinson ran with the purpose.
Trey Miller in the backfield. They hand it off to him. He goes behind the left guard there, picks up a good run, maybe 6 or 7. It'll be second and short for the Wildcats.
Big time pickup on first down for the Wildcats. In a situation now, it's going to bring a second down and 4 yards to go. And you look at the powerful running. You need those big guys up front to get this offensive line, to get the type of push up front and to play with great leverage as they did in the first quarter on that opening drive.
Tal McMillan in on the tackle. He can move over to cornerback with Trey Umbarger back in the game, moving to strong safety. Another run by Miller, gets close to the sticks there. Still going to be a little short, maybe 3rd and about 1, Corey, for Citronelle coming up.
Decision time coming up here. I mean, you're looking at now, you look at the MGM fans, the PA announcer encouraging them to get on their feet, and it's a huge play right here if the Vikings are able to hold and keep the, and make the Wildcats go for it on 4th down.
So we'll call it 3rd and 1. Perfect camera angle right there from a buddy, Marcus Poe, on top of the press box here with us in the stands. Washington in motion. Up the middle goes Tyler Miller on a Wildcat play, and that's a first down for those Wildcats.
Big time first down is you have to have some type of answer because you look at Jason Barnett just continuing to urge his team on, and offensive coordinator C.J. Herring is looking to dial up the next set of plays as now the Wildcats are in the red zone area of the Vikings.
1st and 10, similar area where they were earlier in the late in the second quarter, and gave up that fumble. Went back to the Wildcat formation again, possibly got MGM jumping across the line. Flags out on the play.
Go toward the goal line.
So that'll be 5 yards against MGM, so Citronelle gets closer to the end zone.
Offside on the defense, 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
MGM's first penalty of the night, a free 5 for the Citronelle Wildcats, but great momentum as the Wildcats gave up that opening kickoff for a touchdown, now trying to have their own offensive score here in the third quarter.
I wonder if Robinson is okay. Miller is in, and the quarterback, once again with a big run, going to scan the sideline, see if Robinson is on the training table. Don't see him on the field in a wide receiver position anywhere, Cora.
Yeah, that'll be a huge difference for the Citronelle Wildcats, as it looks like he's running back to the sideline coaching staffs now, and will be back in on the next offensive play for the Citronelle Wildcats.
Has his helmet off right now. But Miller doing a pretty good job, picks up that first down, so now it is 1st and goal for Citronelle. Miller keeps it again, barrels up the middle, gets to about the 2 or the 3 yard line. And it's been Miller left, Miller right, Miller up the middle since Robinson went out.
And I love to see the Wildcats run the Wildcat. As a lot of success with Tyler Miller, I would look for them to go back to the same identical play to the right side of that offensive line as they're going behind the big right guard and right tackle. That's where they felt like they found that weakness. Let's see if MGM makes the adjustments.
2nd and goal from the 3, and Miller goes up, punches it in, and hits pay dirt on the 3-yard touchdown run as Citronelle inches closer to MGM.
Great call by offensive coordinator C.J. Herron and head coach Jason Barnett, finding that weakness and continuing to go to it. If it ain't broke, they're not trying to fix it, and putting 6 on the board, that's a great way to answer that. Now they're faced with the situation here. I said if they scored, whether they wanted to go for 2 early or they wanted to kick the extra point, it's a situation now to where they're not going to chase any points. They're going to go ahead and go for the 2-point conversion here with 6:35 remaining.
And it looks similar formation again, empty back set. Tyler Miller back there. Washington in motion. They hand it off to him. Possible little trickeration with a lateral pass. He jumps it up, throws it incomplete, and it is brought down. Incomplete by MGM, so the try is no good. Citronelle down by 2, 14-12 to MGM. It's getting good, Coralie Bounty. We'll be back with more. It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
A teacher is one of the biggest investors in a community.
They impact the lives of those we value the most.
Teachers share knowledge which helps shape and mold our future leaders.
Teachers show direction and help build a sense of purpose. Are you ready to make a change? For more information on teaching opportunities, teacher incentives, or to apply with the Mobile County Public Schools, log on to www.mcpss.com.
Join the Mobile County Public Schools security team as they take an inside look at school safety and talk to local law enforcement agencies to discuss the safety of your child while at school. That's Safe Schools right here on the MCPSS TV network. 3-yard touchdown run by Tyler Miller, the 2-point try no good. Corey, that is something that has plagued Citronelle all year. We knew coming into this ball game. We didn't know actually who the kicker was because Coach Barnett said it was going to be like kicker by committee. Their first PAT blocked, and their second 2-point try, no good, down by 2 points.
Yeah, that can come back and bite you and cost you. I mean, this is a non-region contest, but you still don't want to lose the football game due to special teams miscues.
And special teams has been pretty much on par and spot on for MGM. Both of their scores coming off of special teams plays, a punt return and a kick return for touchdowns. MGM takes over right now, ball at the 33-yard line.
Tackle made by Cortland Snow, the 5'7", 145-pound senior on special teams. And again, Al, a great second half of action. We called it at halftime, knowing that what our score was, 7-6, knowing that both these teams are very equally matched. 14-12, our new score. MGM really with their first offensive series with 6:28 remaining here in the third quarter because of the kickoff return to start the third quarter of action. MGM now cannot afford to turn the football over, and let's see if they can answer that scoring drive by the Wildcats.
Ashton Hollins keeps this one up the middle, picks up a good 6 or 7 yards on that carry. It'll be 2nd and short for MGM.
I think the biggest thing that quarterback Ashton Hollins has to make sure he does is take care of the football.
Got to.
We saw him run very loosely with that football a couple of weeks ago against Murphy. 6:06 here. Looks like Tim Porter is going to go ahead and give us our heat timeout here before the 6-minute mark begins.
I believe so. So while we have a break, let's take a look at some of the region standings here. We're going to start with 4A Region 1. We already know this is an off week, so a lot of teams playing out of class and maybe just off right there. So still on top, UMS Wright undefeated, carrying the longest winning streak in the state at 23 games. Hillcrest Evergreen, Williamson, and Escambia County right behind them. Let's move it up to 5A Region 1, and we know pretty much on top of there, Jackson undefeated, had a big win over Viger last week, shut them out. Faith Academy undefeated as well, so they are colliding on the path to meet in a couple weeks. And Citronelle tonight, we have them featured 4-1 overall, Corey, but 1-1 in the region. Move over to 6A Region 1. Toughest region in the state, I like to say. Saraland on top, unanimous #1 team in the state. And Spanish Fort and St. Paul's all undefeated, with Blunt lurking right behind them. Only one region loss for the Leopards here. We're going to take a look at this play, and then we'll come back and give you 7A Region 1. 2nd and short here for MGM. Hollins on the snap, hands it off to Houston. Look how he has that ball wrapped up, but wrapping him up on the tackle, Lathan Farmer from his mic position.
I love the ability to go ahead and make sure that how do you kill a horse? Well, you take its legs out from under him and make him unable to perform, and that's exactly a textbook tackle, to where you don't try to tackle the little running back high. You go ahead and you take his feet out from under him, and that's just a wonderful job of Citronelle bringing up 3rd down for the MGM Vikings.
Yep, no gain on the play there. Houston just to the left of Hollins with Kel Young in motion. They're going to keep this one. Houston kind of darts in front of Holland. Now, Holland's a tall guy. He kind of falls forward a little bit, maybe gets an extra yard, but Corey, they're going to be about a yard short from my vantage point atop the press box here at the stadium.
Yeah, it's going to bring up, again, a tough decision. 4th down and 1 yard to go for the Vikings, and you have an outstanding punter. You're right here at your own 40-yard line. The decision making, if it doesn't come in time, you get yourself a timeout, and I believe they're going to go ahead and go for it here with 10 seconds remaining on the play clock. If they can get it snapped and in position before 5 seconds on the play clock, they'll get this 1st down.
They bring in Ezel in the backfield, hand it off to him. Oh, Corey, right up the middle on the stop. Wow, 36 from his will linebacker position, Ricky Lofton, and that is a changeover on downs. He is lit up by Lofton right here. Wow.
Shot the gap untouched, and it's just a solo tackle. Doesn't get any more textbook than that. 5'7", 130 pounds, using all of it. As again, he went unblocked. It was just a missed assignment as MGM was kind of rushing with the play clock running down. Probably would have liked to use the timeout in that situation to make sure everyone knew what their assignment was. That may be the type of momentum for the Wildcats that they've been searching for since leading this game 6-0 early in the 1st quarter.
Coach Stan McCain rolls the dice at his own 38-yard line, and they don't get it. Jamarcus Robinson comes in as a fumble. It is out and scooped up by C.J. Wallace. Corey, look at this. Wallace on the move, and he's taking it to the house to hit pay dirt as Jamarcus Robinson is on the field and cannot believe it. The 2nd fumble of the ball game tonight. Wow.
I think that's a 62-yard return for a touchdown for C.J. Wallace, and we know so far, you look at the quarterback with the keeper, the Vikings are just trying to rake the ball out, and it's going to be a situation that the ball is loose right around the 33-yard line. So you look at him receiving that football or picking it up at the 33-yard line and then taking it some 67 yards to the house. That's officially going to be a 67-yard scoop and score.
There it is.
I'll tell you what, I don't know, Al. The landline, he's making a lot of house calls tonight.
Corey, I've been waiting on it, but you hadn't said it in a while. A scoop and score, and puts it in the end zone, and putting that extra point in right there is Chris Brewer. We'll be back with more action It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
At Mobile County Public Schools, we believe it starts with us. That's why we offer Signature Academies.
I'm Tracy Tran, and I'm in the Healthcare and Dental Academy at Theodore High School. In the Dental Academy, I'm working alongside dental professionals getting hands-on training from those already working in the industry. Shadowing them on the job makes me want to work even harder because now I know what I want to be.
Signature Academies are open to all students in Mobile County Public High Schools. To find out more, visit MCPSS.com.
For executive producer Quentin Howard, director Wade Ford, I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Corey Bounty. On the sidelines is Kimberly Dunn. And Corey, you called it a scoop and score, 67 yards for C.J. Wallace. He took it to the house.
Scoop, scores, see you on the scoreboard. Now the Vikings leading 21-12 over the Wildcats as C.J. Wallace is making it easy to make a decision at this point in time throughout the game who our leading vote getter would be for the most valuable player of the game.
I was just thinking about that, Corey. I mean, he is doing some early campaigning for the Career Tech Education Player of the Game there. C.J. Wallace with two big ones. That kick is off, but the officials are stopping play right here. I don't see any flags on the field, but just as Brewer put his foot into the ball, whistles were going off all on the field. So maybe something was going on with the game clock or the play clock, possibly.
Illegal kicking. The kicking team, 5-yard penalty. We'll redo the kickoff.
So it is a penalty against MGM. Corey, I didn't see any flags on the field anywhere, but that was the stoppage on the play. So to push MGM back 5 yards, they'll be kicking off from the 35 here. Try to get the 7A Region 1 standings up here in a play or two if we can. Finished off with the 6A Region 1. There's a kick by Brewer, nice one. And a little miscommunication on Citronelle's part. Brandon Washington thought he had it, and Jericho Blackman thought he had it, so it's a touchback for Citronelle. Let's take a look at that 7A Region 1 standing in the last group we had here. Theodore in the driver's seat right now for 7A Region 1. They're on a collision course to meet with McGill if they can remain undefeated. But we'll look ahead. I'll jump ahead, Corey. Next week, that's a big ball game. Murphy at Theodore, and that's going to be a big one right there.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to see if you're Murphy in this non-region game to where you're going to wind up being.
And speaking of big ball games, we'll be taking it to the Hornets' Nest. Fairhope versus Baker, another 7A Region 1 contest. Baker, they only have one region loss, and Fairhope trying to keep things alive. So both of these teams are still in the hunt for playoff position.
Yeah, I mean, it's critical. You're looking at Fairhope taking on Daffy tonight on that Eastern Shore battle. Baker taking on Jackson, and last time I checked, Baker was trailing to Jackson. So it's a good matchup between these two 7A Region 1 opponents.
Robinson not in the quarterback position. Looks like Dorian Weaver at quarterback right now, so possibly maybe a change has been made by Coach Barnett and the staff.
Yeah, I mean, you're already down Michael Harvey, who was out of tonight's game with the injury, the sophomore quarterback. So in comes Jamarcus Robinson, and you have a situation where he was frustrated on that last turnover. So you go ahead and you bring in, you have in the Wildcat situation to where you can put Dorian Weaver, who had the first quarter rushing touchdown, and now he's going to be under center in the Wildcat position looking to run the football.
Weaver keeping it right there. Picks up a yard or two. Take a look at our game of the week brain buster trivia question for you, Corey. All right, here we go. It'll be coming up just around the corner. I was getting excited. I thought we was about to slip it in, but it'll be coming up just around the corner, the game of the week brain buster. 3rd and about 4 yards here for Citronelle as you get a look at the trumpet section right there for the Vikings, stirring it up inside the stands. We've yet to see anything, if you want to call it productive, out of the offense for MGM. The defense and special teams pretty much just been showing up and showing out tonight, Corey.
Sometimes that's all it takes. You look at Robinson back at
in the game.
now.
Floats that one. Ty McMillan had his hands on it, but maybe it was a 50-50 ball as our buddy coming down with it, Tyler Jennings from his halfback position, hauls it in. Corey just kind of floated like a little flailing duck there.
Yeah, you look at Jamarcus Robinson just throwing it up for grabs, and the strong hands of Tyler Jennings ripping it away from the middle linebacker or from the defensive back on the play, Ty McMillan, and that's just a break that the Wildcats caught. But it's a situation to where Tyler Jennings was able to pick up that Wildcat first down, and that's the positive situation. Sometimes you could have seen it going a pick six the other way, but a first down for the Citronelle Wildcats.
Washington in motion. They give it to him on the jet sweep. He's got some blockers. Comes around the edge there and goes out of bounds close to the line to make, I believe, was the 48. Let's see where they spot this ball. Maybe saying he's out at the 45, so he stepped out a little earlier than that. So it'll be second and about 4 yards here for Citronelle, trying to keep this drive sustained and trying to get into the end zone. Had a great opportunity on their last series, but a fumble from Jamarcus Robinson is scooped up with a 67-yard recovery by C.J. Wallace. He takes it to the house, and MGM extends their lead to 21-12 as we approach 2 minutes here remaining in the third quarter. Up the middle on the run for Citronelle. Look like Timothy Roberts there.
Carrick Bumpers, the 6'1", 234-pound senior on the stop for the MGM defense. And Jared Part, the defensive coordinator, his team giving up 17.8 points per game. On the other side, Citronelle averaging 20.2. And you look at this MGM offense, they come in averaging 19.4. And even though they really haven't scored an offensive touchdown under center, you still take those points on the board.
No gain on that run by Jennings. They go back to him again, and he is wrapped up once again. On Roberts, wrapped up once again. That's going to be a loss. It'll be fourth down for Citronelle.
Big-time decision-making right here by the Wildcats. With 1:10 remaining, you're on your side of the field, right around the 43-yard line, your own 43-yard line. If in this situation, I would want to flip the field and have my defense stand up to the occasion, but head coach Jason Barnett is going to tell offensive coordinator C.J. Herring, let's go for it right here on 4th down and 5 yards to go.
You've got Robinson and Miller in the backfield. Robinson rolling out. He's got a man downfield wide open. Corey ain't hauling it in for Citronelle, taking it to the house, and that is going to be a touchdown. No flags on the play. Kelly Reed, a big touchdown from Jamarcus Robinson to Kelly Reed.
4th down and 5 yards to go. You look at busted coverage in the Vikings secondary, and that's close to a 55-yard touchdown pass for the Wildcats. And Robinson knew immediately where he wanted to go with the football, as it looks like the defensive back just got turned around. Marlon Sampson was out of position. Coach McCain talked about limiting the explosive plays, anything over 20 yards or more for the Wildcats. Well, how about on 4th down and 5 yards to go? Not only do you get more than 5 yards, but you also get a touchdown.
Little jump pass coming in, and they get the 2-point conversion. Jump pass from Dorian Weaver, getting that ball out to Tyler Jennings. So that gets Citronelle to within 1 point, Corey, down 21-20.
And it's an exciting second half of action, but if you're the MGM Vikings, you're not too happy with the busted secondary coverage. Again, you look at the offense for the Citronelle Wildcats in the first quarter, they were able to convert on 3rd down and 12 yards to go because of the secondary, a breakdown in the secondary. And now you're looking at a situation here where on 4th down and 5, you have another busted coverage in the secondary. And not only do you not give up a first down, you give it, more importantly, a touchdown, the 2-point conversion now. 21-20, fourth quarter action coming up.
Good look right there at Coach Stan McCain. He's our he's the special team coordinator for MGM. Let's get the Game of the Week brain buster question on here, Corey. I got a little excited earlier. Thought I was ready. All right, Citronelle has had 3 coaches to lead the Wildcats to the playoffs in their first year. Name them. We'll give you the answer. Round the corner on the other side, sometime in the fourth quarter. Citronelle's had 3 coaches to lead the Wildcats to the playoffs in their first year. Name them. Now, Citronelle's been playing football since the 20s, Corey, but we know playoffs really didn't start till sometime in the 70s here in the state of Alabama. So, but they've had some legendary coaches at Citronelle. So think about that one, Corey, and you at home, and we'll give you the answer sometime in the fourth quarter. Citronelle down 1 point here with 31.1 seconds remaining. We've seen a lot of exciting things out of the offense for Citronelle tonight. We've yet to see some explosive offense for MGM. Everything explosive has been from special teams from them. So now, with 31 seconds remaining, they'll get another shot at it as we're about to wrap up the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a situation to where if you're MGM, you're happy that you've been able to score off special teams, but you're not happy with the secondary effort.
Right.
Because there cannot be that type of miscommunication and breakdown in the secondary that you've seen. But now, more importantly, you've got to put that last play behind you. The offense needs to come back out and answer, get it into their playmakers' hands. Kelton Young in the flat, I would like to see him get the football and just be able to be productive with it.
Hand off to Kel Young. Up the middle he goes around the edge and picks up a good gain, close to a first down. Depending where they mark it, I think they're going to move the sticks on that one.
Yeah, that's exactly going to be a half yard short, maybe.
Really close.
They're going to measure it, and it looks like he's going to extend it and get the first down.
There it
Tim
is.
Porter's going to say he does have it. 20.6 seconds remaining as we wind the clock. This will be the last play of the third quarter for the MGM Vikings.
Little run up the middle by Edrin Houston. That'll take us to the end of the third quarter. As we get ready to go into the fourth quarter, we'll pull up the Alabama Sports Writers Association state polls with the MGM on top 21-20. We'll start off with the 4A poll and get it up for you. Here's a look at the 4A poll right there. UMS Wright still carrying the state's longest winning streak at 23. And the top 5 in this poll pretty much remain the same from last week, Corey. Escambia County does fall out of the top 10 with their loss to W.S. Neal. And Hillcrest Evergreen moves back into the top 10 at number 9. Williamson picking up 13 votes. And Escambia County with 5. And Andalusia right there with 10. Roll it over to the 5A poll. The top 5 all won last week. No movement there. Last week's number 6 team, Demopolis, lost. So they fall out of the rankings. After Jackson's win over Viger, they are just outside of the top 10 with 19 votes. And Faith Academy, who beat Citronelle last week, picks up 5 votes as play is getting ready to start right here on the field. We'll get you to the 6A and the 7A poll here in a second. The 6A right up there. We'll take a look at it. Saraland still on top, the unanimous choice in the state. And we'll take it down to the field for the action. First play of the fourth quarter. Second down here in about 8 yards. Hollins keeping it, and he cannot get his momentum going forward. They are pushing him sideways, Corey. That's a loss. It'll be 3rd and long for MGM.
Yeah, it's a situation now. If you're the Vikings, you want to make sure that you don't turn the football over. You still have the lead of 1 point, which can seem like a 20-point lead.
Yeah.
If you manage the clock appropriately. You have a great punter in Chris Brewer who can flip the field and kick the Wildcats in deep territory. So don't try to force the ball here if you're Ashton Hollins.
Basically 3rd and 10 here. And they're setting up the screen. Get to the Edrin Houston, cutting back up the middle. Not Houston on the play, coming in the ball game. Jeremiah Martin on that.
little
well, Martin
screenplay
in the ball game now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a situation to where you use your little scat backs, and that's important that you do have two scat backs. Jeremiah Martin at 5'5", 146 senior. Edrin Houston at 5'7", 135 pounds. So both of those guys are very small in stature, but 1st and 10 now for the Vikings.
Can he get some consistency out of the Vikings offense? Wrapped up and brought down. Martin, no gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10 once again.
Running back by committee for the Vikings, Keyshawn Bellamy now getting the carry for the MGM Vikings, and they're trying to give everything that they have now to show the Citronelle Wildcats. But when you bring in fresh bodies, Al, it goes ahead and wears down that defensive line. If you're able to move the sticks right here, Citronelle's been on the field with the exception of that one play for the touchdown to open the 3rd quarter for a majority of the 2nd half.
Kelton Young coming across with that jet sweep. Great carry by him as they spotted about a yard or two short of the line of gain, so it'll be 3rd down and about 2 for MGM.
You were mentioning those polls, and Sarah Land now leading the floor in the 3rd quarter, 63-0. UMS Wright leading Mobile Christian 7-0. Daphne leading Fairhope 28-18 in the 3rd quarter, and Viger leading Murphy 6-0.
3rd and short here for MGM. Bobble snap for Hollins. He's trying to escape the Wildcats. They're coming up on him, but he's on the move. Gets the 1st down, but he's brought down about the 28-yard line, so Hollins does pick up the 1st down and moves the sticks for the MGM Vikings.
That's those long legs that I mentioned earlier that Ashton Hollins does have. You look at him carrying the ball out wide, but he's able, once he gets those long legs going in a positive direction, is able to move the sticks and continue to keep this Citronelle defense on the field.
1st and 10 for MGM. Ball spotted at the 29-yard line of Citronelle. 9 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. Very tight ball game, 21-20. MGM on top of Citronelle. Handoff to Young once again. Coming across another jet sweep, gets a block from one of his teammates up front. Edrin Houston falls forward for about a 7-8 yard gain. They're continuing to move with tempo here. Offense coordinator Grady McCluskey turning up the heat, Corey.
You're starting to see a lot of missed tackles again by the Citronelle Wildcats, as well as Brandon Washington, who's been playing both ways for the Wildcats this evening, comes away with the stop. But that Citronelle Wildcat defense, again, you look at the defensive linemen with their hands on their hips. They're showing a little bit of fatigue. Let's see if the Viking offense continue to go to the same spot of the Citronelle defense.
Both the little scat backs in. They give that one off to Martin, who picks up about 4 or 5 on the carry. It'll be 2nd down and about 5 yards for MGM.
Yeah, that's very important. Again, positive yardage on 1st down by the Vikings, and they're finding a weakness in this defensive line of the Wildcats. You look at defensive coordinator Jason Morgan. Again, I mentioned this is his 3rd year at Citronelle, his 2nd year as defensive coordinator, finding a way to dial up his defense to get a stop here in the red zone area.
On this series, Corey, I don't recall a pass has been thrown yet by MGM. Continuing to run the jet sweep, continuing to feed the running backs. Kelton Young knocked out of bounds on that one. Maybe got 2 or 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and short for MGM as they are inside the red zone trying to get into the end zone.
Could not break containment on the play, just ran out of real estate. You look at him bouncing to the outside. A great stop by the Wildcats. Again, bringing up 3rd down and a long 2 yards to go. But if the Vikings want to win this game out, they're going to have to do so right here in the red zone area. They don't want to come away with just 3 points. They want to put 6 on the board.
Houston in the backfield with Hollins. Martin in motion. Hollins going to keep it on a little misdirection. Stretches out to about the 1 or 2 yard line, so that's a 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal for MGM. Corey, this is the best we've seen this offense so far tonight.
Kobe Reed on the stop for the Wildcats, but again, first down and goal to go now for the Vikings with the clock continuing to roll. You're substituting in fresh bodies or the Vikings, so you have an opportunity here to where I think Ashton Hollins has to keep the football here, or Dominique Ezel. He's the new running back. You don't want to see him fumble the ball being the new running back in this situation.
They hand it off to Ezel. He takes the dive up the middle. Doesn't look like a gain on the play. It'll be second and goal.
No gain on the play for Dominique Ezel, but you've had a lot of success bouncing that ball to the perimeter, bouncing the football to the outside, trying to break containment of those defensive linemen of the Citronelle Wildcats, and I wouldn't be surprised here if you either had some type of quarterback keeper. Let's see if Carl Blankenship, Patrick Horton, Nick McCluskey, Jeffrey Chapman, Carson Campbell can get the type of push up front that they need.
Hollins gives it to Ezel once again. He barrels forward for maybe a yard or two. It's going to be third and goal. They're doing the exact opposite of what Green Bay did last night, Corey, where they threw it 4 times and couldn't score. MGM's run it.
Yeah, I mean, right here now.
2 times so far.
Offensive coordinator Graydon McCluskey urging his offensive linemen to get these yards just 2 yards away from pay dirt. Again, Dominique Ezel is the deep back.
They got the H-back, Logan Tillman, in there right behind the center. Hollins going to keep it, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown, 1-yard run for Ashton Hollins. And yes, we have seen a touchdown from the MGM offense tonight, Corey.
A wonderful offensive drive as they were able to keep it alive as the plays progressed on that drive, taking some maybe 3.5 minutes off of the clock. You look at the touchdown run by the Vikings, 3 yards out, quarterback keeper Ashton Hollins finds pay dirt. His offensive lineman got him the type of push that he needs. The point after pending for the Vikings to take the 8-point lead.
Brewer punches it through, and MGM extends their lead 28-20 over Citronelle. Great drive by MGM right there. Corey, we got a little break. All right, let's time to reveal the answer. We're going to put the question up there first. All right, Corey LeBounty. Citronelle has had 3 coaches to lead the Wildcats to the playoffs in their first year. Can you name them?
I cannot. That's a little bit before my time. I know it's been a while. I know the last home playoff game that the Citronelle Wildcats did win or host was in 2004. So that's taken it a while back.
Not too far back. Surprise, Corey. Tommy Ezel did it in 1999, Eddie Stevenson in 2005, and just last year, Jason Barnett in 2018.
And, you know, you go back and you look at Coach Barnett. We mentioned at the beginning on the coaches comparison in his first year, just creating a lot of excitement in that Wildcat program. But that's hard to do in your first year. 5A, Region 1 being one of the toughest that are around, because Viger made it to the state championship game 1 year ago from 5A Region 1, and you're always looking at the Jackson Aggies as well. But Tommy Ezel, I mean, you look at 99, 05, and 2018, 3 coaches who have made Wildcat history in their first year.
Yeah, and surprisingly, Corey, as I was doing some research on that particular question right there, coming up with it, and that's why I talked about some of the coaches that Citronelle has had throughout the years, and thought about some familiar names. And as I dug deep, I found out that none of them had actually went to the playoffs in their first year. Some successful coaches over there at Citronelle, and their all-time leading coach who did things for them back in the day, putting up a lot of victories, Ronnie Massey, but did not make the playoffs in his first year.
Yeah, that's huge. And now you're looking at MGM trying to stay healthy here and maintain this 8-point lead and make history of their own.
Kickoff return, Brandon Washington does step out of bounds at maybe the 32, 33-yard line on that return. So Citronelle down 8 points with 5:51 remaining in the contest. Now, Corey, we have seen them drive the ball consistently tonight, but they've come up on the short end with some fumbles. But at times, we've had Citronelle put some drives together tonight. Let's see if they can do one right now to possibly pull this ball game out. down 8 points.
14 plays, 64 yards. The Vikings put together that last drive, which is very, very impressive when you start to think about it. And it's a situation now to where the Wildcats, the clock starts to be their ally, or their enemy rather, and because of it, they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more because they haven't had a lot of success rushing the football in the second half.
Dorian Weaver in for quarterback, kind of in that Wildcat position, picking his way from maybe 2 or 3 yards. It'll be second down. We'll call it 7 here for Citronelle as that clock is slowly ticking.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, you know, you can try to get positive yards on first down if you're the Wildcats early and down and distance situations, but sooner or later, you're going to have to put the air underneath that football, because I don't think that MGM is going to give up the running part of it, because the secondaries are where the busts have been when Citronelle has had big plays.
Washington in motion. Miller keeps it, trying to go up the middle, and he is wrapped up by a bunch of the Vikings player. It'll take Citronelle to third down. Let's take it down to the sidelines, check in with Kimberly Dunn.
Before the game, I was able to speak with Coach McCain and ask him what he's learned so far this season about his players. And one of the things that I believe we're seeing manifested here tonight is that they're very kind of up and down. They have those explosive moments, and then they also have the moments where you're like, okay, we need to see that progress from the offensive line, which we are finally starting to see, because up until this point in the fourth quarter, we were only seeing those points scored by, like you said, by those special teams. So we're finally starting to see maybe them staying a little bit up and starting to find that identity, and hopefully they can hang on to that and secure that win tonight.
Thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate that. Timeout by Coach Jason Barnett, as he's called timeout at 4:25. Let's take a look at some of the schedules here for both of these teams. For Citronelle, next week they're going to host Satsuma. Then they're at Jackson. They're hosting Vigor and Wilcox Central. So you know what that means, Corey. They're going to be region tight the rest of the year for Citronelle. Flip it over to MGM, and next week it's going to get a little rough for them. They're traveling to meet Davidson. Then they're on a bye. They finally get a bye, but then it's Foley, Theodore, and Baker. So with those schedules, especially for MGM, Kimberly just talked about, I asked Coach McCain, I said, this time last year you had the exact same record. You had some 50-50 ball games you didn't win. What are you looking to do? He said, we got to get the effort better. We know what we have to do if we want to make the playoffs, because we were literally about 13 points away from being the number 4 seed last year.
You want to see growth in your program, and what have you learned? And we know a couple of weeks ago they came within 1 or 2 plays of defeating the Murphy Panthers in a huge 7A Region 1 matchup.
Sure did.
Third down and long to go now, the biggest play of the game for the Wildcats.
Weaver is throwing the ball, puts it right on the numbers of Brandon Washington, but unfortunately, that's the numbers and not the hands. You got to catch it with the hand. Chris Carter, catch it with your hands. Catch it with your hands.
And it's a situation to where if you look that football in, you try to run before you catch it. And unfortunately, now you're forced with 4:21 to go. You cannot give this football back to the Vikings. You're going to have to go for it here at your own 36-yard line, folks. 4th down, 6 yards to go. The Viking fans are being encouraged to make a lot of noise. You cannot have busted coverage here in the secondary for the Vikings.
Washington lined up in the slot. Weaver rolling out. He's got Tyler Miller, lost it up. It's too much from Miller. That similar wheel route play we saw in the first quarter. No flags on the play. It'll be ball over on downs, and Coach Stan McCain is out on the field at the numbers clapping for his team.
I love the fact that Eric Mills got the pressure on the quarterback. If we have an opportunity to look at that, you'll see number 5 in the backfield causing the disruption. Does not give the quarterback any time to get his feet underneath him and make the clean throw, as Truck does a great job of bringing it up. You look at scrambling out, not being able to complete the pass. If it would have been caught, it would have been out of bounds. Now MGM just has to milk the clock.
Kel Young in motion, takes that jet sweep handoff. Little back blocking from Jason Gilly as Young goes out of bounds at about the 24-yard line. All right, Corey, 4:02 remaining in the ball game. I think we have a leader in the clubhouse for our Career Tech Education Player of the Game. And I think he has some initials that are C and J. What do you think?
Yeah, I can't argue with that, and it's, to me, a no-brainer for the MGM Vikings, as they were only leading 7-6 coming out of halftime, but the first play of the third quarter, a lot of explosiveness as he takes it some 95 yards to the half. Now the Vikings just have to take care of the football.
Hollins on the keeper. Up the middle he goes for a couple of yards. So I'm thinking I'm along the lines with you with C.J. Wallace, punt return, touchdown, and also the scoop and score touchdown. Pretty much gave the offense from a defensive standpoint and special team standpoint for MGM tonight.
Both teams with 3 timeouts remaining, and we're going to get an injury timeout on the field. There's an injured Wildcat down, and as we come back from play after the injury, it will be second down. It looks like 6 yards to go for the Vikings.
Can't get a number on them, so we'll take a break and come back with more action. The MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week returns.
Hello, I'm Helena Tyler. I would like to invite you to join me for Inside Education. Come with us as we take a look at what's happening around Mobile County Public Schools, as well as what's happening in your child's classroom. That's Inside Education, right here on the MCPSS TV network.
I'm Bailey Buck. I attend MGM High School. Here I'm pursuing my career in the dental industry. I'm currently enrolled in honors classes that will help prepare me for my future. My name is Bailey Buck. I am preparing for tomorrow today.
Hi, I'm Todd.
And I'm Terry, and we'd like to invite you to join us as we take a look at nature in ways that you've never seen before.
Come travel with us as we go coast to coast to uncover some of the most interesting animals
and some of the most beautiful scenery that's offered outdoors.
You can join us on our nature adventures right here on the MCPSS TV network.
Welcome you back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Gabe Johnston, injured Wildcat, walking off the field right there under his own power. Always great to see that. Second and about 4 here for MGM.
Big time play for the Vikings as the clock continues to run. The Wildcats have 3 timeouts remaining. And if you're the MGM Vikings, you want to use all the time on the play clock before you snap the football.
Play clock down to 5 seconds. Hollins takes the snap, gives it to Edgerrin Houston. And Corey, he is a tough runner as he is close to the first down. I believe about a yard short. It'll be 3rd and 1 here.
Houston, probably only his 2nd or 3rd carry on the night. The 5'7", 135-pound junior who was the workhorse for the Vikings a couple of weeks ago. If he bounces it to the outside, you can go ahead and put 6 on the scoreboard. But it's a situation now, 3rd down and 2 yards to go, that the Vikings are going to try to make the Wildcats waste a timeout. If they do get a first down right here, the Wildcats will have to use all their timeouts.
Only 2 remaining with Jason Barnett and Citronelle. They hand it off once again. Houston with the carry, and Corey, I believe that's enough for the first down from my vantage point here. And if that's the case, that'll pretty much almost seal the deal here for Citronelle. Next week, we're going into the Hornets' nest. Our first time looking at the Baker Hornets this season. It'll be Fairhope versus Baker. 6:50 is the time we'll take to the air, 10 minutes before kickoff. Fairhope and Baker, make sure you join us next week for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. And Corey, it might be time for me to get my eyes checked again. He's about a half yard short, 4th in maybe inches.
Yeah, I thought he got it out.
I thought he had.
I
did.
I guess they marked his knee down instead of the football down, and MGM's going to run it down to 1 second remaining on the play clock before they call timeout themselves.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't me, Cook, because I really thought that he had the first down, but maybe his knee was down a bit early.
That's what it had to be. That's the only thing that it could have been for the referees to go ahead and mark him short, because I know he did extend the football. But here it is, 4th down and 1 yard to go. Worst case scenario, when you look at the replay, we'll see if his knee is down. Yes, his knee was down. Then he does roll forward prior to him being down. So if you're looking at where his knee touched before he stretched out and rolled over, that's a great call by the side judge and the wingman in this situation. So 4th down, 1 yard to go. You get this 1 yard and the game is over, because you look at MGM still having 2 timeouts, Citronelle still having 2 timeouts.
Right.
1:54 remaining here in the contest. If you're Citronelle, you get this stop right here on 4th down. Now you're having to try to drive some 85 yards, and then if you are able to do that, then you get the 2-point conversion. A lot of what-ifs and possibilities. It'll all be for naught if this 1 yard is gained by the Vikings.
Logan Tillman lined up in his halfback position. And up the middle goes Ezel, and Corey, that's going to be a 1st down, and that'll pretty much seal the deal probably, as the Vikings are going to get out of here if they don't put it into the end zone with a 8-point victory over Citronelle.
Way to salt it away by the offensive line, and you're in a situation to where the worst thing that can happen if you're a Viking is that you find a way to turn it over, but your favorite formation in all of football will probably be coming up here for the Vikings, as they can go into victory formation because the clock is their ally and not their enemy.
Ezel in the backfield. Bobbled snap. Hollins needs to get down, and he does. And with that, Coach Jason Barnett is going to burn the timeout, Corey. So it'll be 2nd and long here with 1:16 remaining in the contest. Maybe we were jumping a little too quick, but Corey, you got to wrap up the pigskin.
You want to go into victory formation, if you ask me, because you're in a situation to where you're going to make, if you take a knee right there, you're making Citronelle burn a timeout immediately. And then that would only mean they would have 1 timeout remaining, so they would have to call another timeout on 3rd down. And in a situation, you just want to value the football. Even if you do go to the victory formation, you want to make sure that you do not turn over the football. It has to be a clean exchange between the center and the quarterback, and MGM gets into their shotgun formation. Ashton Hollins is not under center on the play.
Right.
So now here's the biggest thing. I still go and I get into victory formation right here, and I make MGM not use their timeout, but Citronelle use their last and final timeout of the contest.
Yeah, 1 timeout remaining there for Coach Barnett. 1:16 remaining in the contest. Second and long here, they hand it off, give it to Kelton Young, and Corey, he just needs to stay in bounds if he can. As they bump him out, the clock's gonna run. So I believe with that play, 3rd down, 1:08 remaining, the clock runs. C.J. Wallace, our career tech education player of the game, and you can see Coach Barnett trying to call for the timeout.
Now, I think there's going to be a sideline warning
But
called against the Wildcats first and foremost. But you have to have game awareness right there where you have to stay in bounds. Just get down, young fella. Let the clock continue to run. But I do believe the flag by Tim Porter, he's going to say that Citronelle has called their last timeout. He's going to pick up his flag, and I'm going to see if he's going to say it is a sideline warning.
I think
being
it would be the first one,
Essentially, it would be the first sideline warning. But that's the final timeout being called by the Wildcats. It will bring up 3rd down, and looks like close to 16 yards to go. But if you go ahead and you take that knee on 1st down, you're at the 15-yard line. You don't have to worry about now taking the snap or the ball at close to the 17-yard line. And that's exactly what Tim Porter has assessed, the sideline warning.
There it is. No penalty yardage assessed there, just the warning. So 1 minute remaining, as you said, Corey, about 3rd and 16. And we have our career tech education player of the game, C.J. Wallace. He had a phenomenal game. Ran one back for a kickoff return, ran one back for a punt return, and was in on a couple tackles tonight as well. As I said at the top, we will be calling this young man's name a lot tonight. So congratulations to C.J. Wallace. There he is on the sidelines right now. Number 24 for MGM. But big play right here for the Vikings. You have to possess and, most importantly, stay in bounds. And Kelton Young brought down.
They were looking for a flag.
No flag on the play.
Coaching staff was begging for a flag. but now the clock continues to run. The game clock says 43 seconds, so there's a 15-second differential between game clock and play clock in this situation. 4th down upcoming for MGM. I think right now you're looking at, if you were to call in your kicker from this distant, Chris Brewer, you're looking at close to probably a 42-yard field goal.
I think Coach McCain is just going to burn a timeout right here like he did last time with 1 second.
Yeah, that would be a 40-yard field goal attempt right here. I wouldn't risk having it blocked and having them have an opportunity to return it right here. I would just go ahead and run the football. If you run the football, or if you would have taken that knee early, you would have made them take that timeout much earlier. But again, you just have to make sure that if your player just have that game awareness to where you want to stay in bounds and not turn the football over or let the pigskin squirt out like it did early there on 1st down. So it's a situation now you're bringing up 4th down and probably 13, looks like close to 23 yards to go.
I think a simple handoff, I'm sorry, not a handoff, but a direct snap to the quarterback, and you run around for about 5 seconds.
That's the safest play.
Avoid a tackle and fall.
I agree. And
go to your knee and fall down, because that'll eat up enough time.
Right, to where they would just have one Hail Mary left.
If anything, right.
If anything. So you're
Don't
in a
even
situation.
hand it off to the running back.
I mean,
Don't even
I'm
hand
holding
it off.
And you have to have the game awareness, and you practice these situations as a coaching staff. Time, distance, score, and situation. Ashton Hollins, the quarterback for MGM, just has to make sure he covers up the football no matter what the play is.
Most important, get the snap. They hand it off to Kel Young. He should stay in bounds. Now, flag on the play. Only 9.2 seconds remain in the contest. So let's see what this is going to be, where the direction of the flags came from, possibly a hold.
Holding.
That will be declined, so it will be ball over on downs to Citronelle with 9.2 seconds remaining. Corey, I think that was a situation you never want to tell the kid to run slower, but Young was running a little fast there, Corey.
Yeah, I mean, it was a jet sweep around the end, and it's been a strong play, because if he's able to break containment and get around to the end, you know, he has the speed to take it to the end zone. But now you're in a prevent defense situation. Nothing should get behind you. MGM's only going to rush 3. Looks like they're going to drop into a 3-4 defense to where they're dropping.
They have 2 men at the 4 at the 40-yard line. Jamarcus Robinson's going to haul off and throw it as best he can, trying to connect with Dorian Weaver. Almost had his hands on it, Corey, but it's incomplete.
And
leaves 2.4 seconds.
You can look for the secondary to probably get some 30 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, and the Vikings are only going to rush 3, and because of it, they're going to drop 8, and that's a smart strategy by the defensive coordinator of the Vikings, Jared Parton. The Vikings trying to go ahead and find a way to end this 2-game winning streak and make this home crowd very happy leaving here at E.S. Grider Stadium.
2.4 seconds remaining. Jamarcus Robinson in the backfield there with Tyler Miller. Rolling out to his right, and he's going to haul off and throw it. I wanted to say, like Tom Jackson, knock it down, but it is officially an interception on the last play of the ball game for MGM. Ty McMillan from his cornerback position hauls it in, and MGM gets the victory, Corey, 28-20, in a very exciting second half we had here tonight at E.S. Grider Stadium.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, now you're looking ahead for the MGM Vikings. They're at Davidson next week. You look at Citronelle trying to regroup, and they're going to be playing Satsuma. So it's just a situation for both teams. MGM is now 24-19 all time against the Citronelle Wildcats, but we knew coming in that this was going to be a wonderfully played game, a close game, a tight game, and that's exactly what we wound up having.
Oh yeah, 7A against 5A, and Corey, it lived up to the billing. 28-20 is our end result here. I believe some stats coming in from our statistician, China Powell there.
Yeah, you look at the victorious MGM Vikings, only had 77 rushing yards on the game, 32 passing yards, 109 total yards of offense. They did not need a lot of total yards of offense because they had to score on special teams and they did not turn the ball over at all. Had 2 penalties for 10 yards. You look conversely, the Citronelle Wildcats suffered their second loss in a row now.
That's right.
Going into region play next week. They had 108 rushing yards, so that's something to hang your hat on. 121-yard passing, 229 total yards of offense by the Citronelle Wildcats, but 4 turnovers. They've controlled the plus-minus all year long, but -4 tonight. No really points off turnovers for the MGM Vikings. Special teams play, though, does have to improve for the Citronelle Wildcats.
It does. Offense and defense for them looking pretty good, but special teams has to get better. As you talked about the 77 yards for MGM, we pretty much know that all came in the second half for the Vikings as they finally got the offense together. As we were waiting, just like Coach Stan McCain was waiting to see the offense for MGM, but that drive they had, of course, 64 yards as they punched it into the end zone for that last touchdown.
Time of possession in the second half definitely favored the Vikings of MGM because, again, besides that one explosive play to start the third quarter, they were able to control the clock, sustain a lot of drives, take care of the football, and that's what equated to a victory tonight for the MGM Vikings.
All right, speaking of victory, we have winning coach Stan McCain with Kimberly Dunn.
We're here with Coach McCain and our Career Tech Education Player of the Game, number 24, C.J. Wallace. I'm going to start with you, man. What kind of mindset did you have to stay in to help your team get this win tonight?
I had to stay focused, had to get my team ready, had to stay focused. Coach helped us a lot with being focused this week. He was talking about don't go in soft, just go in hard.
Yeah. He said now before halftime that y'all had to find some way to motivate yourselves. So where did you go to motivate yourself?
I had thought about my brothers. I had got in the zone, and then I had to pick my teammates up, pick up the energy.
Awesome. So what did you think about your team's performance tonight, Coach?
Well, I tell you, I think Citronelle had a lot to do with our performance. They kept the ball on us. They really run the ball at us and had a lot of success. Of course, we didn't play our very best game, and they had something to do with it. But you know, a win is a win, and I'm proud that we came out of here with a W. And you know, the guys kept fighting, and we got it done.
All right, well, congratulations on the win again tonight, and we wish you the very best next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. Yeah, C.J. Wallace was definitely in his zone. Corey, 42-yard punt return for a touchdown and a 67-yard fumble, scoop and score.
Yeah, back to 3-3 now, overall record for the MGM Vikings, and that's big time for this program because, again, they had a tough loss against the McGill-Tulane Yellow Jackets last week, but, again, 2 weeks ago they lost that heartbreaker to Murphy, but coming away ultimately with the win, that's what they want to do. That's what they want to build on, so we'll see if they're able to do that.
Definitely build on it because they're playing Davidson next week. And speaking of next week, we're going to Baker into the Hornets' nest. It's Fairhope versus Baker for our next MCPSS high school football game of the week. For Kimberly Dunn, Corley Bounty, executive producer Quentin Howard, and director Wade Ford, I'm Al Wheaton saying thanks for joining us tonight. MGM gets the victory 28-20. Have yourself a great night.